Vibe so raw, can't hide the truth. Words so sharp, they cut right through. Real talk for the soul's appeal. Prayers rise up the wounds they heal. Lift our voices to the sky. A righteous perspective high. On this path we won't back down. For the Father wears the crown. Each step brings another fight. Breaking chains, we're seeking light. Voice of power won't be tamed. With His love, we're never ashamed. Lift our voices to the sky. A righteous perspective high. On this path we won't back down. For the Father wears the crown. From the ashes we shall rise. Hope is found deep in our eyes. Every word a battle cry. With the Father none deny.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to ARP in the morning. I'm your brother Wiseman. I appreciate you guys pulling up, man. Grace and peace to each and every one of you guys on this fine Tuesday morning. Thank you guys so much for pulling up. Thank you guys so much for coming and hanging out with us this morning. We got a heck of a show for you guys today, and we got a lot to get into. I promise this is going to be the fastest 2.5 hours of your day. I promise that much. You're going to enjoy today's show. You already know we have the usual suspects in the building. Shout out to my girl Celeste. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. We have Crystal from CrystalBeyondLabels. We have my brother Minister Danzel in the building this morning. And we have some special guests. We have the ladies from Pot and Politics in the building, KJ and Shelly E. Appreciate you all pulling up this morning. We'll get them pulled up here in a quick second. But before we get started, I want to make sure I show some love to my folks in the chat. But first things first, y'all already know, we start the show off properly with the verse of the day from my brother Hunter. Let me pull that up for you guys real fast. Today's verse is from Psalms chapter 33, verse 10 and 11. The Lord fails the plans of the nations. He thwarts the purposes of the peoples. But the plans of the Lord stand firm forever. The purposes of his heart through all generations. Thank you, Hunter. Appreciate you always coming through to help us get the show started off properly. I appreciate your support as always. I want to make sure I show some love to my folks in the chat. I'm gonna get ready to pull my people up down in the green room. We'll do that first here in a quick second, but let me show some love to my folks in the chat real quick. Shout out to oh man, shout out to Papa Died. Appreciate you pulling up this morning, man. Now I gotta give you the highlight real quick. I gotta give you the highlight because he's like, hey Wise, do I win a prize for being #1 on both platforms? And unfortunately, I gotta say, hey man, no prize for you, bro. No prize, but you do get bragging rights. And I'm sure there's some hurt feelings in the chat, but there's no prize for you, bro. But I do appreciate you pulling up. As always, you know, shout out to Lori Addison. Shout out to all the blues. Lori, B, LJ, Deb, Zephyr K9. Thank you guys so much for pulling up. What's up, Cindy? How you doing this morning? What's going on, Sunny Wright? Appreciate you pulling up. We got Teddy Marshall in the building. Appreciate you pulling up as well. Who else we got up in here? We got Junior Ray in the building. Shout out to you. What's going on, Lewis? It's good to see you in the chat this morning. Appreciate you pulling up as well. What up, Marla? How you doing? We got Latrice in the building. Shout out to you. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. You guys make sure you hit that like button for me on the way in the building. Hit the like button. Super chat, super thanks are greatly appreciated. I appreciate you guys supporting what we're doing over here at ARP. As you can see, I have my Pray Don't Worry hoodie on today. You can get you one of these. That link's in the description box. Or if you're on the I believe it's the what is that? If you're on the man, brain fart. If you're on the actual YouTube platform itself on your laptop or something along those lines, you'll be able to see it, that information like right below the video. So if you want to get you one of these hoodies, get you one. If you have one already, get one from somebody else. I promise you, you're gonna love it. It's thick, it's comfortable, it's soft. There are a lot of people out there, they've already got one. I think they've already gifted them to some other folks. Y'all make sure y'all do that. Support what we're doing over here. We appreciate you guys so much for supporting us over here. Let me get ready to pull my folks up real quick. Shout out to DeAndre, man. Appreciate you pulling up. What's up, Jasmine? We got Dion in the building. Shout out to you, sister. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. Thank you guys so much. Thank you guys so much. A couple super chats early as well. What's going on, Ed? How you doing, man? It's good to see you in the chat this morning. Mississippi in the building. We got Gerard Caswell coming through with the $5 super sticker. Thank you very much. What up, LJ? How you doing this morning, sister? When do you start the new job? Let us know in the chat. I know you got the new gig, so congratulations on that. No help to me, and my apologize. I'm super busy, and I meant to reach out to you, but my apologies. But congratulations on the new gig, LJ. And shout out to my brother Malachi, man, coming through with the $2 super chat, says usual prospects, right? Not usual suspects. Be safe out there on the road, man. Shout out to all my truckers out there that support what we're doing, that watch us on a day-to-day basis, and especially on Tuesdays and Fridays in the morning. Shout out to you guys as well, all my truckers. I have an affinity for truckers. My pops was a trucker for a long time, owned a trucking company, and he's off to in retirement now. He's chilling. He's probably right now on the recliner sleep right now, but I have a huge affinity for the truckers out there. Shout out to Papa Dot coming through with the $2 super chat. Says, I guess I'll buy my own hoodie. Yeah, go on, do that. And then buy one for somebody else, okay? Thank you, Malachi, for coming through with the $2 super chat. Says, taking a break from Illinois in Tupelo, Mississippi. Okay, I'm sure it's a lot warmer down there than it is up there in Illinois. Let me get ready to pull my folks up real fast. I got to make some changes. What's up, Minister Denzel? How you doing this morning, brother?
Good morning, my brother. Good morning to the ARP family and our special guests. We're glad to have you with us.
Outstanding. We got my sister Celeste _Duffy in the building. Shout out to you. Appreciate you pulling up this morning.
Yes, good morning to you. Good morning to the chat. Good morning to the guests. We finally have broken through the cold and got a little bit of a warmer temperature, so I'm happy now.
Who's broken through the cold? It's still freezing up here. What you talking?
Well, we broke through and we wishing you good luck.
What's up, sister Crystal? How you doing this morning?
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Happy Tuesday. Good morning to the panel. Good morning to the guests. Good morning to the chat. Happy Tuesday. And I am so glad that I can actually wear short sleeves right now. Just saying.
You know what? Y'all gonna stop rubbing it in, man. You know, those of us up here in the Northeast, or I guess this is considered the Mid-Atlantic. But don't rub it in. Seriously, don't rub it in. I know Minister Denzel up in New York, like, nah, don't do that. Don't do that to me.
Let us enjoy it because it's going to get cold again. So let us enjoy this one day of a little bit of warmth.
Okay. I'll give you that. Let me pull up KJ real quick. What's up, KJ? How you doing today, sister?
Good morning. Good morning, everybody. How's everyone doing? Thank you so much for having me.
Well, thank you for pulling up. Thank you for coming and hanging out with us for a little bit this morning. We're very appreciative.
Yes,
and
it's cold here too.
Yeah. As my sister Crystal's father would say, I am ridiculously blessed. So, and every day. You know. Okay. Last but not least, let me pull up Shelly E. What's up with you, sister? How you doing this morning?
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you for pulling up. I appreciate you guys. I've been rocking with you all for a long time. So I'm glad to, be able to grace the stage with you guys this morning. This is awesome, man. So it's always good, when there's people that you watch, on YouTube and, on these, different platforms on social media, you get a chance to kind of, connect and collab and chop it up for a little bit. So definitely a blessing, man. We appreciate you guys.
Absolutely. Same here. Same here. I'm fans of everybody on here. You know, Crystal. I love Crystal too.
Hey, fam.
All of you all. I'm big fan.
Love you all.
Look at that. Look
It's
at
early
that.
for me though. It's early. We're usually
It's
late
early?
night. So
I know you guys are late nights. I'm an early
this is
bird.
super
I'm an
early
early
for
bird.
me.
You know, but I'm also I'm in the bed early most days.
Oh wow.
So I like to get up early and lay it down early. All right, let's get the show kicked off. I want to start with this clip. Thank you, Crystal, for sending this over this morning. I had to add a little bit to it. But in 2026, who is still taking spiritual or political advice from celebrities? Seriously, who's doing that in 2026? Seriously.
I loved it. I loved it. Amen.
I want to play this clip for you guys, and we'll get the show started. Minister Danzel, I'll give you the first word. You can go with it wherever you want to go once the clip plays, and then we'll just kind of go around the horn from there, and we'll get things kicked off. Before we do get started, please make sure you hit that like button for me. If you have not done so already, hit the like button. And, of course, if you want to ask any of these people any questions or you want to add anything to the conversation today, the best way to do that is through Super Chats. Or, obviously, if you want to support us financially, the super stickers are greatly appreciated as well. I will be looking at the chat, so no, you do not have to pay for us to read your comment. If I do come across it and it makes sense and it adds value to what we're doing over here, I will read it. I promise you I will. We do it on a week-to-week basis, so I just want to put that out there real fast. We're going to play this clip. Hit that like button for me.
Beliefs on like what the church should be doing in regards to this climate.
I think that we should be intentional about being very vocal about that. First of all, Jesus' mom and daddy were immigrants. So, but we need to be very.
You better.
So we just need to be very careful to not be arrogant and prideful. And I think that we need to get in the streets and be able to save and love as many people as we can. And when I say save, I'm not talking about just their souls. I'm talking about their lives. We need to be feeding people, taking care of people, looking out for people. Because the way the government is happening with this change in AI, it's going to put a lot of people out of work. So we need to be more compassionate about the human race.
And particularly January seems to have crossed a line. Do you feel like that's what's happened?
I do. I also get a little tired of Hollywood jackasses coming out and telling us what to think. And
That's a bit.
Billie Eilish telling me that, that it's stolen land. I'd love to see her turn her keys back to her multi-million-dollar mansion to whomever is going to come over.
But if you don't like it, don't listen. Don't listen.
We're sitting here listening to all this and these sorts of people. Nobody cares what Hollywood
sorts of people
thinks.
are
Nobody cares what they think.
it.
I really like Jennifer Lawrence talking about, finally, she said, I'm not going to speak politically because nobody listens to us. And I think she's 100% right.
That is not true.
Grammys was the most disturbing, sickening thing I've seen in a very long time. The bloodsuckers of the Hunger Game decided to take it upon themselves to flaunt their $100,000 worth of clothing as they follow a trend by pinning a button that says "Ice Out" on their chest. This is absolutely ridiculous, especially knowing the fact that the Epstein file has been updated the last 48 hours and nobody's speaking about that. Every year is something. Last year was Ukraine. The year before that, they were all going around wearing Chuck E. Cheese buttons. Who knows? These people do not care whatsoever. Make no mistake, people. Everybody that was in that Grammy room, they got some demons that we never imagined. Trevor, which is another one of those beta male liberals, decided to mock Nicki Minaj because Nicki Minaj has allied herself with Donald Trump, which is the most common sense thing to do. Everybody is just basically jumping her. And that right there tells you a lot about loyalty. Not only loyalty, but tell you exactly how Hollywood works. None of them people in that room is sane. They are all sick. For all them black artists to get on that stage, I believe Kendrick Lamar, and basically support illegal immigration, knowing the fact that Joe Biden and that administration brought all these illegals up in here for one purpose and one purpose only. We understand that black people were starting to vote Republicans in a drove, and they knew that. So what they said was, hey, we need people to replace the black community. And that is one of the main reasons why they let these people in here so they can vote, because they thought if they let them in here and give them all this, that they will vote. The fact that you know that, Kendrick, and you still sit on that stage and you protect these illegal immigrants, knowing that the illegal immigrants was going to replace Black Americans in this country makes me sick.
I just told you a little while ago, these leaders that they call leaders, this included Lena Horne, this included Dick Gregory, and this included comedians, comics, trumpet players, baseball players. Show me in the white community where a comedian is a white leader. Show me in the white community where a singer is a white leader, or a dancer or a trumpet player is a white leader. These aren't leaders. These are puppets and clowns that have been set up over the white community and over the black community by the white community and have been made celebrities and usually say exactly what they know that the white man wants to hear.
Minister Danz, I'm going to give you the first word on this, but before you do that, I wanted to add that last clip there just to show you that early on, we were the guinea pigs. Now they're using the celebrities and the entertainers to push their false agenda on everybody at this point. Minister Danzel, what's your thoughts? Go wherever you want to go with it. You're muted.
I'm developing Celeste's habit. if this my point is that if stupid was a crime, most of Hollywood would be in jail for life. No question about it. That's just a fact. There's people out there, they're actors, they think that they're brilliant, and they're just crazy people. But it's sad to see people like Kirk Franklin trying to get on the bandwagon. That's a travesty in itself. You may not have seen the clip that Billie Eilish statement she made during the awards, but she said that no one is illegal on stolen land. And the man was talking in the CNN clip. I mean, he stole my comment. You know, if that's the case, why don't you give up your land? Listen, can those illegals come to your property and set up shop? You see, no one's asking those kind of questions, but that's what they're doing. They're grandstanding, and it's sad. I really think it's really sad. Proverbs 18:2 says that a fool has no delight except to hear their own opinion, and that's what you see being propagated. They just love to hear themselves talk. But I would just love to see somebody, when they speak stupidly, at that very point, ask them a pointed question. And the fact that happened with one of the interviews, a Hollywood celebrity, I forgot his name, but he had a tag, a ice tag on his coat, and the reporter asked, "What does that tag, that badge mean?" And he said, well, you can just come up with anything you want to think of. He couldn't say anything. He couldn't, because he knew he was just grandstanding. He was fronting, and a lot of them are like that. They're being fed what to say, because they can't think themselves. Stupidity is becoming a very serious crisis in our nation today.
Absolutely. So let's get in there.
Well, this is a usual disappointment. There was a time when the Grammys and the Oscars were awarded based on metrics, usually for talent, for some accomplishment, for musicality, for writing, singing, to really showcase the excellence in the arts. And in the absence of these metrics, which it certainly seems to be now, in the absence of this metrics, what you have is a public group self-pleasure session. These people are just pleasuring themselves for the benefit of each other. Only they like them. Only they think that their work is great. Only they are in their own club, and they are awarding themselves for how well they did at being themselves this year. And talent seems to have taken a backseat to all of this. But more than just this, I think what's really behind a lot of this is we have substituted and we have used talented people in music and in movies and in the arts to no longer be practitioners of their particular talent, but to be messengers of particular ideologies. So when you look at where the funding, where the real impetus between getting something off the ground comes from, it often comes from people who have very clear ideologies and have an idea of what they want this country to be. And now the musician and the actor and the singer now serve no longer as the artist, but they serve as a messenger, so that they can hide the message of the people who pay them inside the art. And that's really what they're rewarding these people for. They're really rewarding them for excellence in hiding the message inside the art. And they're paying them. That is the way they are laundering the money to the messenger, because a lot of this stuff isn't selling. A lot of these people can't make money selling music or selling movies. Streaming has cut all of that off. So the way they are using the artists now, since you can't make money just doing pure art and appealing to the public with your talent, now you have become the messenger for powerful ideologies, and they are paying you, they are laundering money to you for successfully messaging the message.
Come on,
Shelly, I'll give you the next word. That was awesome, Celeste.
Who'd you say?
Oh, Shelly.
Oh, hi. Oh, great. Thank you all. Look, we talked about this a little bit last night, and these people, these so-called artists, they know they don't have talent. So what they're looking for is they're replacing this political ideology for their talent. Again, like Celeste said, their talent is not really selling anymore. It's manufactured. It's certainly not of the days of old when I grew up, where people actually created music and produced their songs, you know, from scratch on handwritten notes, things like that. They're not
really
great
sung them.
Absolutely. They're not great in that stature anymore. And then one more thing, I thought about this. During the Roman times, the citizens of Rome, they went to the Colosseum to see acts, the gladiators, you know, the magicians, the acrobatic acts and feats, things like that. They knew they were going to be entertained. They didn't go to the Colosseum to expect to see the politicians, the Senate, the Praetorian out there giving them a political message. They knew that. They were very clear about that. So again, I've never been one to put a celebrity on any pedestal. I love them for their talent. I can appreciate their artistry, things like that. Great, I will do that. But I've never been one to take, salivate at their quote unquote messages. Regardless, I put them in this place of, I'll go and pay for the entertainment I want to see. Just make sure you deliver on that. Other than that, stay out of my life.
Amen.
KJ, I'll give you the next word.
All right. I just want to make 3 quick points. So one, the first clip you put on about what's his name?
Kirk
singer.
Franklin.
Yeah, Kirk Franklin. And he said something that I don't think is talk or push back enough against. He said that we are here as Christians to help people, that we are here and we're supposed to help the immigrant and humble ourselves and things. That is Marxist woke Christianity. Okay.
Thank you.
The goal of Christian help is to restore people to responsibility. It's not to trap them in need. And we see this a lot on the left, where they continue to push these talking points, and they say it's Bible that we are supposed to take care of people. Biblical help aims to lift people up. It doesn't keep them down. And that is what the left, the Marxists, and the Democrat Party, their aim is to keep us in perpetual need on social services, on government dependency, so that we have no agency. They take our agency away. We are constantly dependent on them. The scripture says in Luke, give and it will be given to you. So again, giving is about fruit, not control. That's my first point. The second quick point I want to make, and we talked about this last night on Pop and Politics, folks, when they keep saying we are here on stolen land, firstly, it is a slap in the face to every Black American here. All right. It reframes us as perpetual outsiders. Okay. We're not here on stolen land. And this goes for my white sisters and brothers as well. America is ours. Okay. We belong here. And when they say these types of things, it says our roots don't count. All right. We know that more white people died in the Civil War than Black soldiers. All right. So we got to stop. We got to push back against this. All right. If anyone earned the right to call America home, it's Black Americans. Don't sit out here and tell me I'm here on stolen land. Okay, again, most of these people who came to the Grammys, these people, these celebrities and things, they're frauds. They're frauds, and it really upset me to hear them say that.
What land isn't stolen?
Well, I wouldn't even call it stolen though, Minister Danzo. I would say conquered.
Taken. Well, that's right. That's right.
Every society, every civilization has been built upon others, over time, over history, and that's how it's supposed to be. And I've been telling people for a long time, I don't live on stolen land. I was born here. I am an American. Like Langston Hughes says, honor of Black History Month, I too sing America. I actually raise my hand, okay? So you're not going to tell me if I can go and fight on a foreign land that the homeland that I was born on is not mine. Bull crap.
I want to hear Crystal, but I just want to make it clear that the stolen, I use stolen land because it's not rational. If our land is stolen, everybody's land is stolen because everyone was talking about somebody else. It just doesn't make any rational sense. It's just stupidity. Go ahead, sis.
Absolutely. Crystal, we'll give you the last word and we'll keep it moving.
These celebrities, this is why the Lord said in Deuteronomy, in the 10 Commandments, in Exodus, that you should not make any idols, because this is what they raised these celebrities up to be, idols, so they could just push anything and people are supposed to go along with their foolishness. Because let's start off with Kirk Franklin. Number one, Joseph and Mary were not immigrants. If he understood the Bible and understand how the Roman government was conquered the entire place, and that whole Jewish community, that whole area was like the United States of America. So that's like saying I'm an immigrant from going from New York to Georgia. Am I an immigrant from going from New York to Georgia? Doesn't make sense. But this is what he's out here saying, because they want to perpetuate this lie so that people can sit down here and be like, no, Jesus wants us to do this because Jesus was an immigrant. Jesus was not an immigrant. I'm so tired of people not understanding the word, and you're supposed to be a man of God, quote unquote.
Quote unquote. Thank you.
You don't even know that. And you're pushing this stuff. And that is so sad and pathetic to me. Like, keep your mouth shut and stop trying to push narratives, because I think he forgot. He's going to have to answer to God one day by trying to be a man of God and perpetuating this Marxist ideology onto the church, onto the Christian community, where the Christian community will stop and say, wait, is Kirk Franklin saying we're supposed to be like this? Oh my gosh, maybe we're wrong. So you're trying to lead the sheep away, lead the flock away in a different direction than they're supposed to go. Remember that one time, it wasn't a BT Awards, that he said the lamb will bow to the goat. So that right there tells you where his mindset is at, because remember, Jesus is the lamb. Now, Billie Eilish and the stolen land cracks me up, okay? Because Billie Eilish, again, we all agree it's conquered land. Mind you, when there was a stalker on her property, she said he was a stalker. He was on her property. She called the cops and she pressed charges. Why are you pressing charges? It's not stolen land. There's no illegals on stolen land. There's nobody. He's legally allowed to sit on your property all day long. Why do you have guard gates? Why do you have security systems? Just let the people in. Like, I just don't understand. I don't understand. So she sounded absolutely ridiculous. And the rest of them with that stupid pin, ice, and this and so on and so forth. As I said on my show last night, I said, I don't understand. Why, since y'all are into this Marxist communist mindset, why don't y'all are all millionaires, all your friends are billionaires, why don't y'all pool together and pay for all these people? Why us regular taxpayers got to pay? We don't need to pay for it. Y'all got millions and billions. Y'all pool your money together and go ahead and take care of them. In fact, open up your houses, your big houses. Y'all have properties all over the places. Put them up in your houses. Take them out of our neighborhoods and put them in your houses and let them be taken care of. Since y'all want to take care of people, stop the fake virtue signaling up here saying we need to stand together. Kerry Washington over there crying, Natalie Portman over there crying, Molly Ringwald, who ain't done a movie in forever, crying. All these people crying. What you crying for? Instead of the fake stuff. That's why the Lord says, if you tell somebody I'll pray for you and you see them cold and you don't give them your coat, then you're just as bad. Shut your mouth. That's what I say. Shut your mouth and do something. That is what they need to do. And stop over here trying to get everybody else to feel bad. Because I'm not going to feel bad. I'm not going to feel bad because they came here illegally. That's it. Undocumented. Whatever we want to call it. They're not here the right way.
I like illegal. Let's go with illegal alien. That's what we were taught, in civics class back in the day.
That's right.
Let's just keep it how it is.
Why did Israel purchase the land that they conquered?
No.
Anybody? Did Israel purchase the land that they conquered?
No.
How dare they? And they did it by God's command.
Exactly. Absolutely. Absolutely. We're going to keep it moving. Let me read a couple super chats and we'll keep things rolling. Shout out to DeAndre. See, I see you, bro. I see you. Yeah, tested me. Shout out to you. Thank you. Is it Beta Bucks Deluxe with the $10 super chat? Says very well said. Thank you. Thank you for the $10 super chat. I appreciate you. Shout out to is that Kenzie14 said, "What up, Poppin' Politics fam?" Look at them. They coming with their own fan base. Shout out to Jay Witt coming through. Been a member for 5 months. Appreciate you, brother. Great panel. Thanks for sharing. Appreciate you, bro.
Hey, Jay.
What up, Jay Witt?
I miss you.
And Quincy Gray coming through with the $2 super chat says, with those celebrities, common sense is depleted. Non-existent. How about that? We're going to keep it moving. Hit the like button for me if you haven't done so already. If you are just now getting here, we're going to move into the next segment. I don't know if you guys had a chance to see the clip, but it's getting crazy out there when it comes to these schools. There's a New York school. I think it's a pre-K. It could be, maybe it's a pre-K or kindergarten class. They just crossed, I'm not even going to say they. There is she calls herself doctor. She crossed a dangerous line using kindergartners as political props. Kids they're using were marched in an anti-ICE protest, holding anti-Trump signs, and they were told to say they're angry at ICE for arresting illegal immigrants. This isn't teaching right here, man. This is indoctrination. I've been saying it on this channel for quite some time. Get your kids out these daggone public schools. Seriously. If you can't find a good Christian, faith-based Christian school, I'm not talking about one of these Marxist schools, but I'm talking about one that's actually like tied into the word of God.
Amen.
Homeschool your kids, man.
Amen.
Because you have no idea what these teachers are teaching these young people. It's ridiculous. I want to play this clip right here. I had to still frame it because I want to protect the identity of the little kids. So I still framed it, blurred those faces out. And then obviously we'll see some high schools out there down in Georgia. They're out there allowing them to jump out there and protest. I think this is ridiculous. This is crazy. But hit that like button for me.
My name is Dr. Canton. I am the director here at the Chloe Day School here in Harlem, New York.
Y'all see this lady's t-shirt? Dear ancestors, understand the assignment. Come on, man. Really?
Yeah.
As today is a national day of protest for all the violent things that we're seeing happening across our city. Here at the Chloe Day School, we learn about service and acts of service from Martin Luther King. And so to end our month of service, it's too cold outside for us to go outside and protest. Our teachers cannot walk off the job and leave our children unsupervised. So today, we decided in solidarity, we will support all those who are out protesting against the violence that we see and the harm that we see happening to our friends. So some of our friends are going to share how they feel about what's happening and what they want to see happen in our government to change the harm that we see. So Sahad, how do you feel about what's happening?
I feel all of it.
Right, and how do you feel? What did you tell us earlier?
I feel angry.
Because you don't like to see what?
I don't like to see people are hurt or taken away from their family.
Right, and so Isabel and Amadi, what do we want to say? Stop the
hating.
Right. Okay, and my last three, Faith, Mariama, and Raya, what do we want to tell people?
Enough is enough. Stop hurting people.
And what do we want to say as a school?
Enough is enough. Stop hurting people.
Ms. Shadira, would you like to share your thoughts?
My thoughts are united, we're powerful, our words are strong, kindness is free. Let's do the right thing.
Miss Amy, would you like to share?
Just stop hating and be kind to one another.
Here at the Chloe Day School, we teach love, we teach kindness, and when we work together, we are a better world. Thank you. We're fighting with you, even though we're inside. Have a great evening. God bless.
Yeah.
crazy, man. There is no way my child is going to, I think there was the Chloe Day school. There is absolutely no way my kid is going to that school. No way. Shelly, I'll give you the first word on this. If you want to kick us off, you can go wherever you want to go with it. This is insane, man.
It is insane. Number one, absolutely indoctrination. Number two, I have never been a fan of putting young children on social media so publicly, regardless of what the message may be, quote unquote. I think children deserve their privacy and the protection of their innocence for as long as possible by the adults. That's number two. Number three, many people in your chat are saying the ladies should go to jail, the teachers. I think they're missing the point. I believe their parents gave them permission to do this. I think the parents gave them permission to do this. So in that sense, they may not be breaking the law or violating any kind of rule if the parents gave them their permission. I bet you those 4 and 5 year olds, I bet you they can't even pee straight yet, okay? Let alone say the whole alphabet, maybe count to 100 even backwards. But yet they are being taught to memorize catchy slogans for the sake of adults. I cannot stand when adults use children to pimp their message. I don't care what it is. I just don't. That just runs like it's like nails on a chalkboard to me.
Yes, that's abuse.
Yeah, KJ, you want to get in there?
Yeah, I mean, this is wicked. This is wicked. Okay, this is manipulation of innocent minds. But folks, I'm not surprised. The left literally says that we as parents do not have the authority over our children. These teachers, these activists in these schools believe that they own our kids. Okay. And they're literally in Maryland here. They were trying to disallow parents from opting out kids into certain curriculums in school. This is what they're trying to do. So we got to wake up as parents, as people of God, God-fearing people. We have to wake up and get our kids out of these schools. They are wicked. Who is hiring these people? This is what I always want to know. Who is hiring these people? I mean, this is how you know that the entire education system is trash. It's pure trash, okay? Because it's from the top all the way down to the bottom, all right? These people are sick. That is so infuriating. That's all I got to say. It's terrible.
Definitely. Crystal, what are your thoughts?
I would have yanked my child up out that school. My child would have never been in that school. Okay. Because absolutely not. You're not about to be. My kid can't even spell their name properly. And you around here having them say, and I watched the video and I was like, those poor little kids don't even know what they're saying. You can see that you're coaxing these children into saying these things. The kids have no idea what they're saying, why they're saying it. And you are actually training these children, because the Bible says, train up a child in the way that they should go, and when they're older, they shall not depart. It did not say to train them to protest and support evil. It did not tell you to do that. And these people are training these children up to support evil and to support lies and fear mongering these kids from young. You heard the little boy said, so they don't hurt my friends. And you're just like, what are you talking about? The little boy also said, and they take parents away from their kids. The fact that they're teaching these kids this, and the thing that frustrates me with that specific line, every year people go to jail in America. American citizens go to jail all the time. Do they take the children with them to jail? No. So why do they keep pushing that narrative? Children are separated from their parents all the time. So when you make that statement, why is it that illegal immigration should get a pat on their back while you don't give people who are locked up in jail, and y'all, sometimes there are innocent people who are locked up in jail who are separated from their family. Y'all don't care. I don't see y'all protesting. I don't see nobody upset. I don't see nobody kicking down no doors. None of that. But they're indoctrinating these poor children. And when I look at the fact, because the school that you showed that's here in Georgia, I'm sorry. That school, I looked up that school. That school is below reading. Yes. They're below reading average, grade level reading average. Same thing in math. Why are you out there protesting? You need to be getting every second in school that you can to learn, because this is the sad part. These children are supposed to be the future, but I want y'all to remember, they understand the children are supposed to be the future too. So just like we say children are supposed to be the future, and we want them to be functional citizens, understanding right from wrong, understanding how to do what they're supposed to do in the future, They want them to be so indoctrinated, so dumbed down that they're able to be controlled. So they don't care that they pull these kids out of school to have them protest. I saw a video, Wise, where they had in New York, they had kids not going to school because they're supposed to be in school, shoveling snow. They were shoveling snow. The teachers had them shoveling snow as the protesters brought signs for them to go and protest. And I'm sitting out here like, why aren't they in school learning? You have them shoveling snow to protest instead of in school learning. All I'm saying right now is that I agree with you 100%. They need to, unless the school system gets reworked, parents need to be pulling their kids out of school immediately because they're destroying your children, and your children will not be prepared to be functioning adults and good citizens in America. And they're training these children to hate the country that they live in, because the more they hate their country, the more it's easier for those outsiders to come in here and destroy the country that we live in. And that is the entire point of this Marxist ideology that they're trying to push on us, on our children, and all of that. That's why a lot of people say they're high schoolers or they're college students, go off to college, and what they knew of their child is not the child that they see when they come back home from college. It's not the same child. It's like, what happened? You had different beliefs. No, y'all don't understand. This is what they're doing. And I did a video on nursing and teachers. There's some kind of epidemic where they have filled these two professions with pure Marxists. Either the Marxists trying to take your life in medical field, or Marxists trying to indoctrinate your children. You got both of them. So we need to do some kind of detox in those two fields and remove all of those people from those positions because they're trash. Absolutely.
And
Celeste, we'll give you the next word.
Well, Melissa Harris Perry said before she was summarily fired that your children are not your own. They don't belong to you.
Right.
They belong to the community. And this is a deeply held belief among the left. So it is not surprising that they see fit to take your children and to actually, brilliant KJ said, to restore them or to grow them into responsibility. But in fact, if you notice, this activity was done as part of a day of service. And to use your children to serve the society. Now, people should go back and look up the history of when that became so popular. These ideas of using children to serve society, not to grow into individual responsibility, but to serve society, was very popular among the Hitler Youth. So this socialist ideology has been passed down. They tacked it on to Martin Luther King to make it acceptable and to get Black people on board with this Hitlerian day of service and week of service and all of that. But it is all about saying that you are here for the benefit of society, for the benefit of others. Your job is to not exist independently functioning of yourself, but whatever you have to actually render it in service to someone else, therefore making your portion reduced and their portion gained. So the whole point is to reduce any individual prosperity so that the collective can share in it. So you must reduce yourself to accelerate the whole and to inflate the whole. And I think that, we take these things very tongue in cheek. I bet you if you would have asked that teacher if she knew any of this history or any of the background surrounding these days of service and with it, they don't know anything. That's why they put them in front of children, so they have a complete assurance that the children will never know anything. So they don't worry about it. You send your kids to those schools, it's a guarantee they're going to come out knowing nothing. Rest assured. But I don't think that they don't know that. But the people, the Randy Weingartens, JK, you said who hired them? That's who hires these people. These people do know that. They do know that. They're very savvy, and that's the reason that they wanted to attack these day of services on to Martin Luther King, because at the time when they were doing it, he was a completely undisputable figure, could not be, attacked and beyond reproach in every way publicly. So, I mean, people couldn't look down on it, and nobody went back to really look at the history of this stuff. But I say that it's not surprising that children are being used, because that has always been a deeply held belief that, in fact, children and people, if you can raise children into understanding that their reason for being alive is not to develop the talent God gave them, but to, in fact, find a talent that they can then render to the whole, to the collective, to the society.
Amen.
Minister Denzel, we'll get you in there to finish. But I want to say this. April said it last week that Democrats are masters looking for slaves, and the average Democrat voter is a slave looking for a master. And when you think about what's going on in our school systems, you think about that, they're actually developing the new slave. They're developing it. So they dumb down the population, and everybody understands that when you dumb down the population, it makes those people easily enslaved. They're obviously easily indoctrinated, and the cap off is not trade school, not the military, not going out into the workforce. It's let me finish off the indoctrination by forcing your kid to go to college when we know most of them aren't qualified. But if you can get those that can get in there, and if we can just get them in there for a year, because we know what that freshman orientation looks like.
Oh, yes.
They start the indoctrination day one. So if we can get them there, we can finish off the indoctrination process, and we have our slaves in perpetuity until maybe they listen to someone like us and we shake and wake them up. Minister Denzel, I'll give you the last word, and we'll keep it moving.
They also don't want them to know that they don't need college in order to be a success in this world, that you can make a whole lot of money and great living without having ever gone to college. They don't want them to understand that, because that will destroy their grift. The left they're also masters at misusing empathy and compassion. They're masters at distorting the basic meaning of love. They're good at this. And I got to give them credit for that. And I think that that's a place that we on our side have to start attacking them on. Whenever they misuse these words and they use these ideas to make people feel emotionally about something, and emotions trump intellectual thinking, that's a dangerous state to be in. And you can get people do a lot of crazy things when you have them in that state. So I think that we have to really do our due diligence to stop them. And every time they use that tactic, to stop them, expose what true empathy means, what true compassion is, what true love actually means. And Sister Shelley, you're probably right. Some of the parents probably did give permission for the kids to be used like that, but they don't have to be given permission, because as was just said, they think the kids belong to them when they get to that school. When they're home, they're yours, but when you're in that school, they belong to us. And so they have constantly done things without the parents' permission. You remember the whole trans thing that was going on. And they can do things without telling you. The kid will come to school and they'll change their clothes and do their thing and then put their clothes back on and go back home. The parents wouldn't know anything at all. So this is the kind of mindset that these people have. It's a travesty, and I think it's abuse. And I think that we have to push the point that this is abuse, because they're quick to call abuse when we do something legally and rightly. They call it abuse. And yet we let them get away with abusing people and not calling it abuse. So we have to use the same tactics, but accurately, that they use. Rather than lying, we can use the truth and expose every lie that they're telling, and every criminal act that they're committing. This is very important on our part. We have so much data, so many weapons we can use against them, because they provide it for us every day. They are the dumbest people in our society, and unfortunately, dumbness and stupidity has become the new normal in their camp. That's become the new normal in their camp. That's become very popular. In other words, if you're intelligent and rational, you can't make it in their environment. They need dumb, stupid, and ignorance. And so we have to promote that truth about them and let people see where they're really coming from.
Wise, I forgot to mention real quick, the two of the things that I saw watching all of the teachers at the schools doing this. I was very proud of two parents in Washington State.
Come on, sis.
When they found out that they were doing that with their kids, The parents were so angry. They went up to the school and they removed their kids from the school immediately. They were like, nope, my kids is not coming back to the school ever again.
Excellent.
This is not what school is about. And they pulled their kids out immediately because they were like, this is not education and this is not what they're supposed to be doing. You're not supposed to be forcing that on them. And I think more parents need to do that. When they find these things out, they need to get up to the schools and do that. And the other thing is, I watch these kids now that they allow to be out in the street. I saw kids here in Georgia, they were out protesting. They almost got run over by a car. And I'm like, how would you have explained that to the parents? That you pull these kids out, you tell them to go protest, and these kids out in the street almost get hit by a car. You had a bunch of students actually jump a teacher because the teacher they said the teacher's MAGA, and they actually beat the teacher up. I watched the video as they beat the teacher up. And this is the things that they're allowing these kids to do. They're teaching the kids rebellion, and that they don't understand how that can work against them later. They don't understand it, but they will find out if they keep this foolishness up. But I just had to say that because I saw those two things as well.
I'm glad you made that point, Sister Crystal. And I think that, again, I've said this many times on this program, we have got to stop letting them get away with this mob stuff, because remember, it gives the impression that they have control. And if we don't take a stand and start locking these people up, letting them know you're not coming, you're not crossing this line, they will think that they control our nation. And the media wants to give that perspective. We can't let that happen. I mean, I think that our law enforcement in the cities and that especially in these blue cities, they're not doing their job, you see. So they're letting this go on. So at some point, our citizens are gonna have to figure out some kind of way to make sure we set up a barrier and let them know, listen, you're not just going to punk us like that. Now, and I'm not saying commit violence against violence, but I'm saying let them know they're not going to walk over you.
And let me just say this really quickly. And I hope we understand what they're doing here to these children. So in one hand, they're saying, you know, we own your children, you know, your children are not your own. And they're indoctrinating them, they're grooming them. And then on the other hand, they're teaching them sex without consequence, sex without marriage. They're sexualizing these children. You know, you have some schools on the West Coast that want children no longer calling teachers or professors by Mr. or Mrs. They say, no, call me by your first name. So they are this is sick. Yes, they're trying to create slaves, as you all mentioned, that are also overly sexualized and presenting them with adult material so then they can become sexual.
That's right.
It's a sick world, folks. Get your kids out of these schools.
Absolutely.
Yes. Amen.
Absolutely. Couple super chats and we'll keep it moving. Shout out to my brother Spaces coming through with the $5 super chat. Says Kurt Franklin lost my respect when he told the world he makes gospel songs completely bare on Club Shay Shay. Why would a man of God say that? Yeah,
I remember that.
He said a whole lot of crazy stuff.
He said, he said a lot of craziness. Goodness,
that was among the craziest.
Yeah, that was out there. That's out there for sure. Shout out to Egg Chien coming through with the $5 super chat. Says before America even existed, the Indians were conquering other Indian tribes and doing far much worse things
and eating them.
Yeah, they were doing all types of crazy stuff back then. Shout out to my brother LS coming through. Says they tried to force my son to protest. The protest was announced as a pep rally. Okay, man, that's crazy.
Yeah,
that's crazy. I know LS down there in the Atlanta area. Shout out to Quincy Gray coming through with the $5 super chat. Says panel chat. With all this going on, what happened to us as a nation, as a people? I don't remember it being like this 10 or 15 years ago. What happened? They fast-tracked their game plan. People got to understand that these folks have been playing the long game. A lot of us, unfortunately, we've had our heads in the sand and we've allowed them, to move into this era right here to a point to where they don't even have to be covert about it anymore. They are overt in your face telling you this is what we're doing and they're daring us to do something about it. Does anybody else want to add anything to that?
15 years ago was Obama. 15 years ago was Obama. Don't forget that.
And that fast track. Yeah, you're right. You're right. That was the fast track.
Yeah, the only thing I would add, Wise and panel, only thing I would add is that I think on the other side, I'm saying we collectively, if you will, we didn't meet that force, like Denzel was saying. We did not meet that force and kind of retrain or redirect our young people. So we have a whole generation or two, literally, that really, number one, they don't know their history. They certainly don't have any relationship with God, right? They don't have families, if you will, or at least intact enough to provide them that structure, that those walls to be born and raised in a, I guess I would say, a fairly stable home, and then go out to the world. We didn't equip our children and our young people with that. Hence, we have the people like Mom Donnie being voted in by a lot of young people in New York City and elsewhere, all the other things. So when you have people that don't know their history, they certainly don't have any love or patriotism for their country. Their families were largely gone or ruined. You have all of this confusion and chaos.
That's right. That's right.
Absolutely.
Yes. Remember, they use language. They said that they try to make you feel guilty if you spoke against something, and we got to stop letting them do that. That corruption over there with the Somalians now, they would not say anything because if you did say something, you were racist, and they will call me racist. Then I'm gonna tell the truth. We have to stop letting them punk us with these misinterpretation of words, and let the truth be spoken, and don't let them dumb us down or make us feel bad.
And I'm thankful for all the churches that pastors, real pastors, or voices are raising, because we had too many fake Marxist pastors in there convincing people that you should stay out of this. This is not our problem. We're just waiting for God to come back, and you just sit, be quiet, don't worry about it. Don't worry about these people out there. So we sat here and we did nothing, and everything is going on around us, and we forget that we're supposed to be submitted to the governing authority, so we should be involved in politics, but they convinced us that we weren't supposed to. So a lot of us shied away and all of those things. We didn't speak up, and that's why I got to this point.
Yeah, absolutely. You're absolutely. I think the shutdown really opened a lot of people's eyes, especially parents, because I don't think a lot of parents were really paying attention.
They were being taught.
They had no idea what their kids were being taught. And then when they started listening and started overhearing these teachers speaking to these young folks, they were like, wait, hold up. Which I do find it a little weird that, you're not going to the school, you're not going to these parent-teacher meetings, PTA programs, things of that nature. You're not doing that. But I think that's where that was the time frame when people really was like, wait, I didn't know that it was this bad in these schools. Because a lot of us just assumed that school was the way it was when we were in school. Now, for me, I was in the 90s, but 80s and 90s. It wasn't like this in the way it is right now.
No, even so.
Go ahead.
And another thing I was going to say is the racial element of this. I'm seeing older Black Americans who, my aunts, my uncles, older people, and I grew up in, I'm leftist. Most of my family are leftist, or Democrats, I should say. But people when I was young, they taught us about hard work. Nobody's going to give you anything. You got to work for it. And there was a little racial element in it. But now I'm seeing these same people totally embrace this idea that we are oppressed.
Yeah.
And the white person is the oppressor. Like, I didn't grow up with they were not like that when I was growing up.
No.
So now it's like the media has pushed this on our people in such a way that we are regressing, I think, instead of progressing.
Absolutely. I'm in agreement there.
So, if you really look at this, what's so, I guess, upsetting, and every time I see it, I'm just like, why? I'll be very happy when Black people stop allowing themselves to be used for their own destruction. It is amazing to me that these teachers don't understand what, in fact, illegal immigration is doing to the quality of Black life. And I'm not saying that we should be concerned with just the quality of life of Black people. I think we should be concerned with the quality of life of Americans. But since you want to stick your Black face out there, I feel like we have to now take you to task. And ask these people, wait a second. Do you understand that in almost every way you can count it, if you want to look at affordable housing, illegal immigration brings in brings in more demand, so the supply goes down, so housing becomes less affordable. If you want to look at jobs, particularly low-skilled jobs, absolutely impacted by illegal immigration. And if you want to look at skilled jobs, if they can put DEI in it, then the illegal immigrations are more favored for employment. I mean, almost any way you slice this thing, and don't talk about the vote. You are literally look at, oh my God, abortion. If you look at abortion, even on the low estimate since 1973, 25 million or 20, so the upward amount says 40, but the low estimate says 25 million Black babies have been aborted. In exactly that same time period is when illegal immigrants, particularly those of South American descent, have doubled and increased their population. So we stayed at 14%. They moved to 20. They started at 14% in 73. Now they're at 27%, and that's just among those they're willing to count. So your vote is already diluted. You are already no longer the largest minority. All of that was gone since 1973. Why are these people standing up talking about, because we don't want to see our friends hurt? Let them stand up and say, we don't want to see Blacks hurt. Where are the Latinos? Where are the illegal immigrants standing up for what has been done to Black people since their arrival? Miss me with all of that.
Thank you, Celeste. Thank you, Celeste. Thank you. And think about this. Think about this, the clear points that we are making about the fact that every time an illegal immigrant, large crowds come over here, they are depleting our own resources. They are living in homes that we should have. They are living in apartments that we should have. They are taking our public assistance.
Yes.
This is something they're completely ignoring, and it's never brought up when you're complaining about this stuff. But this is a serious problem. They are here illegally. It means something to violate the law, and we have to keep that before them, because sympathy and love does not trump violating laws. It just doesn't.
And that's
make
why,
any sense.
Minister Denzel, that's why I also said, when my grandparents came in 1975, they had to sign paperwork to say that they will not be on any benefits. And they had to say that they will be able to function without having any benefits.
Come on.
And when I look at today and I see people standing up for these illegal immigrants and they're saying all that they're saying, I'm like, y'all forget there are people that are in those countries that wanted to do it the correct way. Why should they be punished? These illegal immigrants have pushed all the other people that were doing it the right way, that want to be good citizens in America, that don't hate America, because the legal ones that are here, they usually yelling about death to America, how much they hate America. There are actual people that are in other countries that want to come over here, that want that life, and actually will stand up for America and be a patriot for America. But they've been pushed to the back of the line for all these illegals. And I find that just absolutely ridiculous that people make that kind of concession for them. No, stop making concessions. To me, why do you want people in your country who don't like your country? Listen, you can't come to my house and tell me you don't like my house. Then get out my house. You don't belong here. That's simple. Don't be here. But people let these people in and they say all kinds of stuff about our country, talk about how much they hate it, they hate Americans, then get out.
Amen.
It's that simple.
It doesn't mean we're being unloving.
Yep. Thank you to E Big coming through with the $10 super chat. Says, not to mention being given free attorneys to fight deportations. Yeah, it's crazy, man. Thank you to how do you say that? Is that Keela? Hopefully I pronounced that properly.
McDonald.
Keela or Kayla? Keela? Okay, one of the two. Thank you for the $10 super chat. Says, children are not born to hate. Children are taught this. The adult should be held accountable. We wonder why our young adults are now so confused and easily manipulated. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, you got a chance to see it firsthand. They're starting them at what? Pre-K 4 at 4 years old. And now they actually have implemented pre-K 2. So they actually want to get them even earlier.
Yeah.
These people aren't playing. Nope. Thank you, RMJ, for the $2 super sticker. And thank you once again for the $2 super sticker. I appreciate you. Shout out to Sandra PR with the $10 super chat. Says, the public schools are the worst. Kids are being mentally abused. And thank you to, is it Brodo? Hopefully I pronounced that properly, with the $10 super chat. Says, stay blessed today. Thank you. I'm always blessed, man. And shout out to that Jay Zimmerman coming through. I thought that was Jay-Z. I just like, hold up now. Jay Zimmerman coming through with the $5 super chat says, your message needs to be heard on mainstream media. Love what your message is saying. Thank you very much, man. Appreciate you. And shout out to, how do you say that? Is that Saransky? Hopefully I pronounced that properly, for joining the ARP family. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. Appreciate you guys. We're going to keep it moving. Hit the like button for me if you haven't done so already. I want to play this clip from Chuck Schumer. The Democrats are losing their minds and threatening another shutdown, which is, I think, is just absolutely ridiculous. But I'm going to play this clip. It's on the longer side of things, so we'll let that thing rock, and then we'll get into it. Celeste, we'll give you the first word once we come back.
We have a population that is not reproducing it on its own with the same level that it used to. The only way we're going to have a great future in America is if we welcome and embrace immigrants, the dreamers, and all of them, because our ultimate goal is to help the dreamers, but get a path to citizenship for all 11 million or however many undocumented there are here.
3 weeks, there has been a lot of news under the surface about the SAVE Act. This is a bill to safeguard our elections and require proof of U.S. citizenship before voting, among other provisions. Now, our conversation on this started with Scott Pressler, who has been calling on Senate Majority Leader John Thune to allow a vote every day since January 1st. Earlier this month, Scott joined me here to make his case.
The American people demand Senate Majority Leader John Thune bring a vote on the Safeguard American Voter Eligibility Act, and let's have proof of citizenship to register to vote. We have this one moment in history with Donald Trump at the helm, with a trifecta Republican government. I say nuke the gosh darn filibuster, pass law after law after law.
That interview went viral and senators went into action. Senator John Cornyn said he spoke to Leader Thune about the SAVE Act. Senators Katie Britt and Dave McCormick signed on as co-sponsors. And several others, like Rick Scott, ramped up his support publicly. Here's Senator Scott last week.
However we do this, all right, whether it's part of the spending bill this week, whether it's a separate bill, whether we have to stay there, you know, and do a standing filibuster, whatever it's going to take, we got to get this passed. We've got to secure our elections. I can't imagine a Republican senator that would vote against you know, making sure that you have to have proof of citizenship to register to vote and to vote. Now, how could anybody, I don't know how a Democrat could be against this.
Yeah. After that interview came an avalanche of support for the SAVE Act. You see it here. The tally now sits at 49 co-sponsors, and Senate Majority Leader John Thune said this week he will allow a vote.
They are still modifying the bill. It includes right now a requirement that you be a citizen to register to vote, but it doesn't include a requirement that to vote you be a resident. That's being fixed and addressed, and I think the new bill that comes out hopefully will deal with that. But, I mean, at some point we'll have that vote.
Hey everybody, it's Tim Burchett. What is the SAVE Act? Or the Save America Act, whichever you want to call it. Everybody wants to rebrand everything. It's just basically this. When you register to vote, you have to prove you're an American citizen. When you go vote, you have to show an ID. That's all it is. That's all it is. And the reason they don't want it is because they know they got a population of illegals voting. We see it. They say, oh, just prove it. Well, you can Google it. It's everywhere. These people, 10, 15 people registered to one address in Georgia. Just go down the list. It's all over. And they know it. And that's how they're stealing.
Look at this above my head. This is the 2030 apportionment forecast, which will be based off the 2030 census. So this is predicting if states will increase in electoral votes, decrease in electoral votes, or stay the same. If you pay attention, every single state that's decreasing in electoral votes is blue. Essentially, every state that's green is either red or trending red. You can argue or debate about Georgia, but my overall point still stands. This is terrifying for Democrats, and I'll explain why. This is also likely why Joe Biden let in millions upon millions of illegal immigrants and why we've seen Democrats fighting us so hard to enforce our immigration laws and deport these illegal immigrants. So 3 things are converging at once right now. The first one is people are moving from blue states to red states. The only reason California has been seeing consistent population gains is due to international migration to California. Americans are moving out of California to red states. And again, why is this important? Because of apportionment. So let's take this a step back and let's just talk about off the jump when it comes to presidential elections. Electoral votes. Republicans start at an advantage when it comes to electoral votes, meaning there are more solid red states than there are solid blue states. So depending on how you look at it, Republicans start with around a 240 electoral vote baseline before the election even really begins. That's baked in. Democrats start with around a 200 to 210 electoral vote baseline. Republicans already have the advantage there, and that's essentially just off the rip. So let's think about this. I'm going to go back a little bit. First thing, Republicans already have a baked in advantage when it comes to the Electoral College. They already start closer to 270 than Democrats do. Again, this is based off of solid red states versus solid blue states. Now, here's the second thing. Individuals are moving out of blue states and moving to red states, which then in 2030, from then on, for the next 10 years, it will increase red states' electoral vote baseline. So once 2030 starts, the advantage for Republicans will even be larger. Now, let's add the third thing, which is voter registration. Democrats are losing a ton of voters. Independents are gaining a ton of voters at Democrats' expense, and Republicans are gaining in voter registration. So now let's add those three things. Democrats have a lower baseline when it comes to electoral votes. The census shifts are going to lower their baseline even further when it gets to 2030. And they're having registration issues. They're losing voters. What is one way to offset this? Immigration. Remember, the census counts bodies, not citizens. So when Trump is deporting immigrants, this is harming Democrats because, again, they want to have a bunch of illegal immigrants in this country because it helps them protect the structure. They don't want to lose electoral votes. Well, if people are moving out of their states, what's the way they can increase their population? Import people. They don't want their baseline when it comes to electoral votes lowered. Again, import people. This is essentially one of the most effective ways they can fight back to stop the underlying structure from changing that would disadvantage them even further.
Shout out to Jeffrey Mead, man. So I wanted to play that clip. It's a little longer. This clip was shared by Elon Musk on X, and it is going crazy right now because I don't think a lot of people really had a full understanding as to what is going on. Celeste, we'll give you the first word on this. Go wherever you'd like to go.
Yeah, he did an excellent job. And I would just like to say that Democrats go into anaphylactic shock when they come into contact with common sense. It is simply that you have to register, and when you register, prove your citizenship, and then when you go to vote, show an ID. It's a very simple idea, but I can see why they are so threatened by the idea.
Yes.
Democrats have been saying for years that demography is destiny. And if you understand that demography is destiny, what this gentleman just explained to us, not only demography, but now geography has become destiny. And I wrote a piece, I talked about it before, called Refugees on the Move. And it was talking about what we are seeing is a reverse in the 200-year migration scheme into urbanity. So if you wanted to look in 200 years ago, during the sort of the height or moving towards the height of the Industrial Revolution, people were moving from rural areas and from the South into urban areas in the North and in the Midwest, where all the factories were, all the jobs were. And that is what created the cities that we now have and created the urban culture that we now have. All of that came from that. What happened during COVID is COVID made everybody stop and everybody sit in their house for a second. And what people realized in many urban areas is that the promise of urban living had failed. You know, it was supposed to be great to live in densely populated buildings. And all of a sudden people were finding out that it was making them sicker. Their proximity to people and the sharing of the air and the ventilation systems was making them sicker. It was supposed to be wonderful to pay a tax to have a paper bag and not a plastic bag. Then we found out that in fact, no, paper bags are porous and are more likely to hold the disease for longer. It was supposed to be great to not have your own car and to use public transportation. But then we found out that having standing on a bus when somebody sneezes and you breathe in, it was making direct contact with the virus. So all of a sudden people said, you know what? I maybe want to go back to the way my grandparents lived. I want some more distance between me and my neighbors. I'd like to drive in my own car and have some sovereignty in terms of my travel. And I would like to be able to determine what goods and services, paper bags, and I eat that I want. And I want to live in a freer place where I can begin to make those decisions, not only just for my quality of life, but in COVID that are more likely to keep me alive. If you look in history, whenever the wealthy, there have always been viruses and plagues in society everywhere on earth, and they have always retreated to their country home. So a lot of people started making that shift. And when they realized that they could work from anywhere, they were like, look, I'd rather work where I'm working, but live someplace where I can have a higher quality of life. But I want to say, Chuck Schumer let the cat out of the bag. If you notice, he said we need to get the dreamers the 11 million or however many there actually are. So he knows it's more than 11 million. He knows that number is at the floor and they keep saying it, but it's really significantly higher. And I said this last week. Democrats cannot win when there is a free and fair election.
That's right.
You add in what the gentleman said. If you add in the fact that the apportionment will change because people are moving, and if you add in that there'll be a requirement for an ID, so all that ballot illegals voting can't happen, and then you add in what people are not really talking about, but because it's under the radar at the moment, but there is a possibility of a very large Supreme Court decision about racially gerrymandered districts that might actually flip about in excess of 30 seats all over the country that are currently Democrat back to Republican or away from Democrats. If those three things happen, we're going to be in a completely different electorate. And I would like to say this: Republicans need to get off their demoralization, and none of this will mean anything unless they get people out to vote. And getting out you cannot rely on Donald Trump being on the ballot to win. At some point, Donald Trump has to exit stage left, and we still have to live here. So we need to actually take up the mantle and take up our own responsibility as citizens and get people out to vote, because the infrastructure is right for us. And the only people who can lose it is us. Stop talking about we can't win the midterms, and we probably won't get 2028, and we won't do this and we won't do that. We won't do anything with that kind of language. Get up and work for it.
That's right. Amen.
Amen. We'll give you the next word.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said, Celeste. Folks, this SAVE Act is it. If you are conservative, if you love America, if you're black, because as Celeste said, the reason why they are so against it, the Democrat Party is so against this SAVE Act, is because they want to bring in illegals, which they're already here. Now, President Trump is trying to get as many out as he can, but there's no way he's going to be able to get out all that Biden let in. It's no way.
Nope.
So they want open borders. This is what the globalists want. This is what the Democrats want. And they want these illegals to come in and replace us. And guess what? It's not just the illegals. Folks, we're looking at New York City. All right. We got Muslim mayors all over the country, that are coming into fruition.
That's right.
They are changing many. And where are they going? They're going to these cities. All right. The city, as we knew it, is not going to look the same for our children and their children. That's done. It's not coming back. So they're changing this. They're changing the demographics. They're changing the cultures. They're changing it all. And the SAVE Act would somewhat stop it, because it would require you have an ID to vote. When was that controversial? When is this? You just need an ID. When
stupid became normal.
When I was young, I don't know if you guys remember, I was a teenager. We couldn't walk around without an ID. Okay.
Right.
And I was black when I was young, and I'm black now. That was the thing. You had to have an ID. If you weren't old enough to get an ID, then you had your student ID. Everybody got a student ID. So you always had identification on you. It's not a big deal. And majorities of Black and Hispanic voters support proof of citizenship requirements. What is tricking everyone is, again, the mainstream media and the Democrats are saying it's not about voter ID, it's about voter suppression. And so, you know, when the Black folks hear suppression,
whoa,
they're suppressing my vote. No, we're trying to help you because you're about to be replaced. Okay, you're about to be replaced. So, folks, we need to get on board with this SAVE Act that they're trying to push forward. Again, it's simply about requiring proof of U.S. citizenship. When you vote, anybody, if you're a U.S. citizen, you will be able to vote. That's and right. We have to get this codified. We really do. It's going to have a detrimental effect if we don't, not just on Americans and on whole, but on Black Americans.
That's right.
That part.
You're absolutely right, KJ. Allowing just anybody to vote is actually diluting your vote by just allowing anybody. So, I mean, if anybody should be for it, it should be all Americans, Black, white, Hispanic, doesn't matter. You should be 100% okay with making it mandatory to show an ID in order to register, as well as when you pull up to whatever school or wherever polling site you go to. I mean, you have to have an ID for everything else. There isn't anything that you can't do in America, especially, you know, when it comes to, you know, alcohol or you know, the dispensaries or gambling or whatever else you want to do. Y'all okay with it for that, but y'all are upset about it when it comes to making sure that, you know, the vote, you know, our elections are free and fair. Come on now. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Crystal, I'll give you the next word.
So I want to explain something because I saw in the comments, people love to say with the SAVE Act, married women won't be able to vote. Why do y'all keep saying that? Why do y'all keep saying that? I'm not understanding. What are they telling y'all that y'all don't understand common sense? I'm just very disturbed by this statement. Yes, married women will still be able to vote. Again, you just need your ID. I don't understand why it's so difficult to understand. Again, as Wise just said, you find your ID to buy alcohol, go to dispensaries. Listen, every Thursday, let me back up. Every Tuesday through Saturday here in Atlanta, y'all know how to find IDs to hit up the club.
Hit the club, yeah.
Find the IDs to go to the club, but y'all can't find an ID to go vote.
They're talking about when they're saying that there's a narrative pushed out that married women, if you just got married and you have not changed over your license, right? And I guess if this happens to happen right around an election, then you won't be able to vote because it won't match.
Not true.
Yeah,
and that's not true either, because if you have to do that, they will give you a form that tells like, hey, you have a change of name on your license. You show your old license and the new form, you'll be just fine. These people are ridiculous.
And that's what people need to realize. The thing is, this is wisest thing. Hold on. Allegedly, but not. I watched James O'Keefe do that expose because I live here in Atlanta, and I know the communities that they went into where they knocked on the doors and they asked the illegal immigrants if they were registered to vote. They spoke to them in Spanish. They were undercover, so the people had no idea that this was James O'Keefe and their people. And the people said, yes, they came around. They gave us the stuff. Don't worry, we'll be able to vote. So when people are sitting here saying illegal immigrants don't vote, you are being ignorant or you're just lying to yourself. One of the two. When Tim Walz passed that bill to make sure that illegal immigrants in his state had driver's licenses, again, or that was all they needed to go and vote. And then they even had a whole hearing, an oversight hearing in Minnesota to say, hey, so what happens if these illegals come in and go to vote and they present this ID?
No, that won't happen.
He says, well, we would hope they would let us know that they're here legally. Why would they tell you that? Why would they tell you that? Like, come on now. They're already lying to you. They already snuck into. Do we really trust their character? They snuck into the country illegally, but we're going to trust that they won't vote in our elections? Y'all have to understand, this is, again, like everyone is saying, to water down the vote, replace the black vote. I'm telling you that right now, it's to replace the black vote, because too many black people said that they were tired of the Democratic plantation and they picked themselves up and left. And so they're like, we need to backfill, because we had the black people on lockdown. Now they got up and they left us. Y'all need to pay attention to all that is going on. They are trying to keep us suppressed. They keep saying, they use the buzzwords as suppression and oppression. I want y'all to go watch a video on my channel where I showed the white liberal what they think of black people when it comes to voting. Because it's very interesting where they sit down and say, well, black people, it's racist to ask black people for ID because black people can't get IDs. But black people don't know how to use the internet. They don't even know how to get to the DMV. They don't even understand what it means to get a computer. They can't navigate it. This is what white liberals are saying about black people. So I want y'all to understand that they think that you're inferior, and you are actually falling in line with that mindset when you sit down here and say that it is racist to ask you for ID.
You're a pet. You're
exactly. I have a friend in New York. And he did this whole thing. He went to go vote. He wanted to give them the ID, and they're like, "No, we don't need an ID." He was like, "Why not?" And they were letting people in. Yep. I'm gonna say allegedly, because I'm protecting Wise's stuff. Allegedly, I saw it, but allegedly. And
you allegedly saw it.
Exactly. He was reporting it. He recorded. He reported. He was out. He called everyone necessary because they were letting people in without showing ID to go and vote. They didn't care. And so when y'all are saying that this is not true, you're being ignorant or you're lying to yourself. One of the two. And this is ridiculous because this is our elections. This is our country. We are Americans. We're supposed to be protecting these things because this is our home. I don't understand why people don't get that. This is our home. We're supposed to protect everything in our home. You won't let anybody just run up in your house and take over your house. You won't let anybody else come in and do these things. Understand, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. And right now, the liberals are working with the spirit of Islam to come and overtake America. And they're going to do all that they have to do, even if they don't like each other. Because again, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. And if that means making our elections have election integrity concern, that's literally what they're going to do.
Minister Denzel, what do you work?
Listen, first, I need to tell you this. The one thing I think kudos for them for making this major move to do away with this craziness that's going on in our elections and people being allowed to vote without being American citizens. However, I want to make one caution that we had better make sure that we have a way of detecting true from false IDs, because you got a whole lot of activists that are producing IDs and they're going to try to find a way to get these people IDs. We've had it going on as it was before, and they will do this. They don't care. We know they have no respect for our nation. They have no respect for laws, and they are desperate for power. So we have to have checks and balances in place, not only to make sure people have ID, but make sure those IDs are official, and that there's a way to detect the official ID from those fake ones, because they will produce multi-billions of fake IDs to get these people in. That's my main concern. So I thank God for what you're talking about here, though. This is so important that we have to push back. We have to take a stand, and we have to do it because we're defending our own nation. We're defending our own state. I appreciate people like you that are aware of what's going on. And like I said, stupid has become the norm now. And we have to find some way to get through to these stupid people, because they will destroy our nation if we let them. They will completely destroy our nation if we let them. And if we keep letting them define things that are like this, that are just and right, as wicked and evil, as against democracy, a threat to democracy, we have to stop letting them play this game with us. We got to nail them every time they do it, because that's where their power is at. They have got some people so convinced now that right is wrong and wrong is right, and they're willing to die for it. Taking their kids out to march. I mean, this is crazy. Putting their kids on their back and taking them out to go to these protests. The mentality, we see it's not stable. So we've got to make this clear to the public that you cannot produce and promote instability and expect our nation to last.
Absolutely. Shelly, I'll give you the last word. We'll keep it moving.
Oh, okay, great. A couple things. Number one, it's interesting that we had this discussion, particularly how the left will play this against quote unquote Black people in particular, the scary boogeyman of an ID. Well, it's interesting that the credit card companies figured that out years ago. You know what? You can get an ID on your credit card because JP Morgan, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, they want to come after you when you owe them their money. So follow the money. There's no big deal of that. You'll get your face on a credit card, but you can't get an ID to show to go vote. To Crystal's point, here in Maryland, you don't have to have an ID to vote either. You can just state your name, your address as two verifiers, if you will. They don't refuse your ID, but you're not obligated to show one, even in Maryland. So that needs to get changed too. To the specific point of the SAVE Act, I also have been advocating, if you will, or waiting for this debate in the Supreme Court on the American Birthright Citizenship Act, because who is defined as an American? If we do not clear that up and codify that, then I think all of this is going to be a moot point. We're going to be back in the circle again and again. Remember, we've had amnesty at least since 1986 when Ronald Reagan was in office, and we still have now all those people that were supposed to be grandfathered in. How come all these people still out here years, decades, not even just recently, but decades without becoming an American citizen? These amnesty laws, they really don't work. They only promote more people to come illegally, and then they get the clauses and the carve outs and things like that. And then we have 4 years ago, 10 millions of people are here, and we can't even account for all of them. We need to, number one, define who we are as Americans, what it means, so that if we need to have a constitutional convention to say that only American citizens are counted and not just anybody, then let's do that as well, because these things are all one and part of each other, and they will stack on each other to benefit Americans. Okay.
Amen.
This accounting bodies, fine, count bodies, but that means including illegals. If you include illegals in the count, that means working Americans are going to be taxed more to pay for the illegals. We're still going to get the same old mess. Define who we are, count Americans only, get the illegals out, and let's put this into law. And let's hold our politicians, our elected officials to account to do so.
You can't come over here and pop out a baby and make them American. Come on, they're popping them out like crazy. Everywhere I look at, I'm seeing a whole rows of people coming over here. Everyone's walking with babies. I mean, they're coming out from everywhere. They're coming out.
I'm sorry, Wise. I just have to. You know me. I try not to address these people in the comments, but sometimes they just really make me address them. So can I just give me 2 seconds?
Yeah, I'll give it to you.
Let me explain how this works, y'all. Number one, when you sit here and you lie and say that we have a problem with immigrants. Clearly, y'all weren't listening when I said my grandparents are immigrants that became citizens. My parents were immigrants that became citizens. I'm the first born American in my family. I think you missed that. We don't have a problem with immigrants. Why do y'all like to take off the first word to describe what we're talking about? Illegal. Why don't you understand that? And that's the problem with y'all. Y'all allow these people to twist and confuse you. We don't have a problem with immigrants. Immigrants have been coming to America forever. This is illegal. We have a problem with illegal because you didn't do it the right way. You're sitting here, as I said last Friday, these illegal immigrants are driving around Tesla trucks, Mercedes-Benz, the whole 9 yards while collecting benefits, and you can't even pay your rent. Make it make sense. You want to get benefits, you can't get benefits, but they're on benefits while pushing Benzes, open up the quality learning centers and making money off of that, and y'all are sitting down here defending that? That is the problem. We don't have a problem with immigrants. We have a problem with illegal immigrants that didn't come in the right way. I don't like being in a place where I don't know who is here. I don't want anybody just rolling up in my house. I don't know if you're a criminal or not. And that's literally what happened when illegal immigrants came in here. We have no idea who's in here. How are we supposed to protect the citizens? How are we supposed to protect each other when we don't even know who's here? If they're here for right reasons, what they're planning to do to us, you have no idea, but you want to sit here and make those statements about immigrants. Again, put on your thinking cap and learn to use the word in front of immigrants. Illegal. That is the person, the people that we have a problem with. Those are the people we don't want voting in our elections. That is what we're talking about. So come and join us in this conversation and stop making up your own conversations.
And listen, I got one better for you, just really quick. The Trump administration doesn't have an issue with legal immigrants.
Nope.
His wife is a legal immigrant.
That's
the
right.
vice president's wife, and for all you who are racially idolatry, is a brown legal immigrant.
Amen.
So what are you talking about? They all, the whole administration is full of legal immigrants.
That's right.
And most people, like you said, Crystal, legal immigrants do not support illegal immigration. Many of them, because they fought hard, they paid money to get here the right way, and they don't like people jumping the line. So you are exactly right.
Yeah,
it doesn't mean we don't love the people.
Right.
Stop lying on us.
Absolutely.
We love you because we tell you the truth.
Name another nation that you're going to move to and then be on the government dole.
That's right.
Most
Will
places.
You live? Will you live if you sneak into that country? In some of these countries, you won't even get to live long.
No. Well, they'll lock you up and get you up out of there pretty quickly. They don't play games in most places. We're one of the few places that'll let people come over here and then we'll pay them to come over here. It's crazy. Makes absolutely no sense. Let me read a couple super chats and then we'll keep it moving. Shout out to Organic Food or Organic Fool, my bad, for joining the ARP family. Thank you. I appreciate you. Appreciate your support. And thank you, Warfighter 2475 for the $10 super chat. Says keep speaking the truth. Thank you, man. Appreciate you. And shout out to Organic Fool coming through with 1 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 18 says, let no one deceive himself. If any of you thinks he is wise in this age, he should become a fool so that he may become wise. I like that. Thank you for putting that in there. Shout out to Brodo coming through with the $10 super chat. Says blessing from Hawaii. Aloha to you out there.
Aloha.
All right, man. Appreciate you staying up and hanging out with us. And shout out to Melissa out there in Hawaii as well. Appreciate you as well. Thank you, Spaces, for coming through again with the $5 super chat. Says Miss Celeste is preaching a whole sermon and I'm about to shout.
Yeah.
By the way, I did not think you were about to say black face. Threw me all the way off. Shout out to you, Spaces. Appreciate you, bro. Thank you, Kayla McDonald coming through again with the $5 super chat. Says, don't California my Texas. I think a lot of folks down south feel that way. Shout out to Eric coming through with the $2 super chat. Says low income areas can have ID for booze, not voting. Yeah, exactly.
That part.
Exactly.
That part.
Thank you. Speak your voice first. Thank you for coming through with the $5 super chat. Says this is why Democrats push the voter suppression narrative among black people to use emotionalism and our past to push illegals to vote. Yep.
There you go.
That part.
And how many of us continuing to fall for the foolishness? That's what's really crazy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Thank you, Eric, again for the $2 super chat. Says, is it Tammany? Tammany Machines version 2.0. Thank you very much. And thank you, Lauren, coming through with the $5 super chat. Says, excellent show. Thank you, friends. Appreciate you. Appreciate your support. And thank you to Melinda coming through, joining the ARP family. Appreciate you. Appreciate your support. Thank you very much. And Sugar Shane in the building. Shout out to you, man. What up, $2 super chat. Says, Crystal, I watched the Bible study after work. Okay. He checking in, letting you know. He checking in, letting you know. And shout out the kid, bro, Steve, coming through with the $50 super sticker, man. Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you supporting the channel this morning. Let's keep it moving. All righty. A couple of weeks ago, at this point, you know, the days, they start to run together. We cover so much stuff on a day-to-day basis. But I think it was about 2 weeks ago, we covered the California billionaire tax. And we talked about, you know, how many, a lot of these billionaires, they've already packed up. They're moving to Florida. They're moving to Texas. They've gotten up out of California. And, you know, we discussed that, you know, they pay majority of the taxes out there in the state of California. Well, California, they just implemented a new tax. California just passed AB 1424. It is a mileage tax. This is going to affect the poor, the working class, the middle class folks, because, you know, hey, if they can't get the billionaires, you are next. People need to understand this. I want to play this little short clip from Ramen Real Talk, just a short little excerpt from his video. It's phenomenal. I want to play that for you, and then we'll get into the conversation shortly after. KJ, I'll give you the first word when we come back.
I stood right here and I warned you. I said California wants to track every mile you drive and charge you for it. Some of you didn't believe me. Some of you said, Ramin, that'll never pass. Well, it just passed the assembly. AB 1421, January 29th, 2026. It's real, it's happening, and it's headed to the Senate right now. So let me break down exactly what this means for your family, your wallet, and damn it, your privacy. Because this isn't just about money anymore. This is about the government putting a tracker in your car and knowing everywhere you go. Stick around to the end. I'm going to name some names, specific senators, their damn phone numbers, because we still have time to stop this. But you got to pick up the phone. So let's get into it.
Breaking news from Sacramento, California Democrats just made your cost of living much more expensive. They voted to approve a new mileage tax, charging every driver in the state per mile that they drive, and that's on top of the sky-high gas taxes.
So I started digging into the numbers, and let me make this real for you.
6 to 9 cents per mile that you drive.
The proposed mileage tax, 6 to 9 cents per mile. Now you're thinking, 6 cents? That's nothing. Really? Let's do the math. You and your spouse, 2 cars, maybe you lease, maybe you own. You're trying to keep each one under 12,000 miles a year so you don't get hit with an overage fee. So that's an average mileage for a California resident. So together you're driving about 24,000 miles a year. Pretty average, pretty California. At 6 cents a mile, that's $1,440 just for driving. At 9 cents, that's $2,160 a year.
That does not include the cost of the gas without the tax, does not include the insurance or the cost of the car. No, the wear and tear. No, it's just the price gouging of Gavin Newsom and California Democrats on poor, struggling working families in this state.
California has the highest gas tax in the nation, 68 cents a gallon. You're already paying that every time you fill up.
A typical family of 2 with average mileage on their car has to pay $4,200 per year just to drive 2 cars.
Carl DeMaio did the math. 2-car household, you're looking at $4,200 a year just for the privilege of driving on these potholed roads that you already paid for.
For a family with 2 cars, a working family with 2 parents driving, they would have to pay $4,200 a year to the state of California just for the privilege of driving on crappy roads.
$4,200. That's family vacation. That's 3 months of groceries. That's your kids' braces. Gone to Sacramento so they can build more trains nobody rides. But here's where it gets really scary. How do they know how many miles you drove? Think about that. They got to track you somehow, right? And California's already got their fingers inside your car. You just didn't realize it. Every time you get a smog check, they plug into your car's computer. They know your mileage. Every time you take your car to the dealership for service, well, they download your data. They know your mileage. Every time you register your car, right there on the form, they know your mileage. But that's not enough for Sacramento. No. They want real-time tracking, GPS, a computer in your car that tells them not just how far you drove, but where you drove. Your church, your gun range, your AA meeting, your doctor's office, your girlfriend's apartment. And fellas, I hope that's not the case, but this is California, so the pink poodle? Yeah, I said it. If you're going there, that's between you and God, but pretty soon, it's going to be between you and the California Franchise Tax Board. Think I'm being paranoid? 96% of cars made since 2014 already have what's called an event data recorder. It's a black box like the ones in airplanes. It records your speed, your braking, your steering, whether your airbag's deployed, and has historical data. Insurance companies love this thing. They go after it after accidents. They use it to deny your claims. They use it to prove that you were at fault. And now good old Gavin Newsom and his government, they want access too. Whatever happened to privacy in the state? Whatever happened to none of your damn business where I'm going? Well, I'll tell you what happened. California happened. And here's the part that really burns me up. This isn't new. They tried this before. September 2023, San Diego, SANDAG. That's the Regional Transportation Board. They proposed a local mileage tax. It was a test. You know what happened? The people went nuts. Phone calls, emails, showing up at meetings, absolute chaos. And the board, well, they voted 15-4 to kill it. One board member, and I'll never forget this quote, said, "The people hate this." The people hate this. Yeah. So what did Sacramento do? They went around the local rejection and passed it statewide anyway. San Diego said no. And Sacramento said, "No, we don't care what you think."
It's crazy. Hey, if these Democrats could tax the air that you breathe, they would tax it. This is crazy. This is crazy. KJ, what are your thoughts on this, man? This is outrageous.
It really is. And it's scary because if we don't get a hold on this country, this could be countrywide. Folks, this is the Democrat Party.
Yep.
So they have no real ideas. They have no real solutions to many of the things that hurt us in this country. So what do? They tax us. And they tax us because they want to push so many social programs. We're seeing this now in New York City, that they have to tax us in order to continue all of their social programs. All right. And so let me say this before I really get into this. If let's say, like some of these Democrats, some of these leftists say, let's say the Republican Party is racist. Let's say it's everything you say it is as far as racism and things. Well, the one thing that they do talk about in Republican Party is the idea of freedom. Freedom from government, freedom from you earn your money, you work hard, you earn your money, and you shouldn't be taxed on it, as taxed out the wazoo. These are two core tenets of the Republican Party. So even if you are racist, let's say they are, we already have laws in place that will that talk about racism, that will penalize you if you discriminate against people based on race, skin color, all of the things.
That's right.
So we have things to go against that. But if they codify these things, which they have, into law, folks, we have no agency. Right. They want our money and they want to tell us what to do with it. They're going to tax us. They're going to take most of our money. And then the little bit we have left, we're supposed to live off of it. This is not just in California. In Maryland, Governor Wes Moore, who is the beloved of the left, his 2027 budget proposal was roughly $1.6 billion in new taxes and fees, folks. All right. This is coming across the country in leftist enclaves. So he did stuff like firearms and ammunition, new taxes. The wealth tax is here. Locality tax rates increases. I mean, the list goes on. Okay. This is how the Democrat Party moves. So I don't understand how people are still voting for this, even if you're independent. I mean, I could see you. I don't understand how people are voting for these people when they want our freedom. They want us to be slaves. Yes. It reminds me of in the what's that movie? The Matrix, when we're all cogs attached to wires, and they're just sucking everything they can out of us until we have nothing left.
Yep.
This is what it is. And that black box that he talked about, it's not just in California. I believe in 2030, they are trying, and President Trump is trying to push back, and the Republicans against this. They are trying to include that as mandatory in every car by 2030. Every new car, that each car has one of these boxes. It used to be something for insurance. Now they were trying to require it so they can track us. So they can say, oh, well, you have this amount of mileage, so I'm going to charge you this amount. It is crazy, folks.
It is.
Yeah.
Shelley,
I agree.
we'll let you get in there.
Yeah, so if you know me, you know I am so limited government. I probably make some people on my side upset about that, okay? Because any inch that the government is given or allowed, what's the old saying? You give them an inch, they take a mile, or whatever. That's what they're going to do. There's no facet of our lives that our government and those in charge, if you will, in position that they think that they're not supposed to control. We forget, and I'm going to say we collective, we forget, we have allowed, whatever the word is, we have allowed our agency, our we the people-ness to be given over to people who we think because of their position, status, or whatever, to quote unquote rule us. Well, we succeeded from King George, okay? We didn't want a king. We are not subjects. We are citizens, okay? We do have agency. We do have our rights, life, liberty, and in pursuit of happiness. We have God-endowed rights, okay? So we see this. These laws taxing people, particularly to this degree, is the I guess I'm going to say the best way, if you will, to encroach in their lives, to overtake their freedom, to decide for them where they can go, who they can see, when they can go. Not only that, it's not just cars. They wanted to tax the rain here in Maryland a few years ago, okay?
Yeah.
Literally the rain, okay? These people have this God-like mindset that they get to decide for us. And when you don't agree with them, and let alone if you push back, then you are considered the rebel or the radical, or you're not following the law. Well, the laws, number one, have become onerous along with the taxes. And this is the best way. Not only that, when you can control a people, regardless of party, if you control their money. Okay, because if the truth be told, we talk about racial structure or demography. Most of the time, it's really economics. So when people do not have that economic freedom over their lives, they are more beholden, more reliant on quote unquote the government. And who is the government? It's all of us who are working to continuously pay these taxes added on top of each other. And this is not just one tax. These taxes are cumulative, okay? They're cumulative and comprehensive. There's no way the government should have any place to dictate to you about your car, your refrigerator, your washer, your dryer, certainly not the rain, okay? But again, we have come to a place where we have allowed, when we hear the words the government, we're supposed to fear. It shouldn't be like that. In fact, it should be the other way around. They should be fearing us, we the people.
Amen.
The power lies with us. And too many of us have gotten that upside down to the point where our lives are literally dictated by people that we put in office who really think that they are kings over us. Enough is enough.
Minister Dancer, I'll give you the next word.
Oh man, talk about normalizing stupid, man. This is a classic, boy. I tell you, there's got to be a movie somewhere in here. Listen, remember we talked about they upgraded the whole so they can pimp tax them. Okay, they just made them more important so they can tax them later on. Then now they're taxing the mileage, and as you said, why is it? I wouldn't put past them trying to tax the air. I mean, they're gonna because they killed themselves. They shot themselves in the foot, in the face, in the butt, and they have no money. They got the grift that they were running with all of those took care of that. So now they lost all this money for their bad management. And so now they are so desperate, they're doing anything. And it's just, to me, I'm shocked that ain't more people leaving out of California faster. I know they have already lost a lot of people, but at some point, at some point, that state has got to turn red. If it doesn't turn red, it's because there are a lot of mad, crazy people in that state. I just don't understand. I mean, there's no way you can stay blue with the kind of crap that's going on there. And I don't agree. I don't think that that's going to spread throughout the rest of America. I mean, the insanity is too blatant for it to spread every place. I just don't think that anyone can handle that. Now, California is a big state, and it's a beautiful state. I don't see how it can maintain its blueness. I mean, its redness. I mean, it's blueness. I think that they got to turn red. You can't do this kind of damage to a state and stay the way you are, status quo. I just don't believe that. Something has to happen. Something has to give. So I'm glad that they're doing this. I'm glad that they're acting crazy. When Democrats act stupid, we win. When stupid rules, we win. We just got to take advantage of it.
Yeah, I mean, you're seeing this transpire all around the country where liberals are in charge. I mean, we talked about Virginia. I think that was maybe 2 weeks ago. We talked about Virginia and Spanberger getting in there, adding all these new taxes. Obviously, out here in Maryland, I'm with you guys. And I mean, we're being taxed into oblivion. I mean, they've literally raised everything, every fee, emissions, inspections, tolls. It's ridiculous out here. That's what really has me saying, like, it's time to go. It is time to go. It's unaffordable here.
Come out of her.
I'm ready to follow Sister Celeste down south, man. This is outrageous. It is outrageous.
You see Mom Donnie? Did y'all see Mom Donnie get up there and talk about how bad New York was doing? How deep in debt we were after all those promises he made?
Because he lying. He lying as usual because he know he gives money there.
Go ahead, Crystal.
So the thing is, I need the low information, low IQ voters that are hanging out in my comments to have a moment, okay? My people perish for lack of knowledge. Y'all are so stuck on racism and racial divide. Y'all aren't even in the conversation, and y'all don't even realize that y'all aren't even in the conversation. Let me bring y'all into the conversation. I'm gonna bring y'all in the conversation. They're not worried about your racial issues, okay? They like that y'all like to spin around in these racial issues because y'all aren't paying attention to what's really going on. So let's talk about this tax for mileage. Y'all were so concerned about Project 2025, and people with common sense kept telling y'all, stop worrying about Project 2025. That's not a thing. Go read Agenda 2030. Go read Pact for the Future.
Yes.
We told y'all, go read Agenda 2050. We said, go read those things because that is the plan. That is what they want to do. So think about this. When you start charging people mileage for driving, then they will quicker want these smart cities that they wanted to create. They will quicker want that. So this is what they like to do. They like to force your hand and make you agree to the things that they want to implement. Yeah. And this is one of the things that's within Agenda 2030. But nobody likes to read. They like to just listen to the pundits on CNN, MS Now, and all these other places that tell you lies all the time, and y'all don't actually go and do research. Stop talking about racism. Stop talking about Trump and the Epstein list, because we've already discovered, so sad for y'all, he has nothing to do with it, and we've been telling y'all that forever and a day. Y'all were looking for something and it didn't happen. Stop telling us to treat foreigners a certain way, because the Bible clearly tells us if we don't pay attention, foreigners will grow stronger and stronger, and we will get weaker and weaker, and they will take over, we will be stuck being servants to them.
That's right.
Stop telling me about what the Bible says when you don't even understand what the Word of God says. Understand it first, and then we can have an intellectual conversation. But until you understand it, why are we having this conversation? You keep dropping scriptures, cherry picking, but you have no idea what you're talking about. Again, this is what they're doing in all of these blue cities, blue states. They're implementing all these taxes to make people uncomfortable and force your hand, force you into the things that they want you to do. They want the smart cities. They want Agenda 2030. And understand, Agenda 2030 was something that they put together since 2014, 2015 area. That is, they were hoping that this would have been the movement. It would have been Obama, then it would have been Hillary, then they would have had somebody else, maybe a Pete Booty Juice, whatever you want to call him. They would have had him, and they would have made their way into Agenda 2030. But what happened was there was something that the wrench was thrown in the plan, because God heard his children, and Trump came in, and then they came again because the church fell asleep. And then Biden came in, and the church was like, hold on. We see something wrong here. And the church cried out again, and boom, Trump again. And Trump this time around with a Republican Congress, with a Republican-led Senate.
Yeah, baby.
Stop sitting here fighting against Trump and supporting these people who don't care about your race. Because I want you to understand, y'all are so busy talking about racism, but when they decide to implement these Agenda 2030s and Agenda 2050s, it's not about your skin color. It's about your status. It's either the haves and the have-nots. That is what it's about. It is not about your skin color, because that's what y'all like to live on. They are concerned about, do you have it or don't you have it? And they want to remove the middle class, and they just have the very rich and the desperately poor struggling. And understand, if you're not up there in like the 1%, the 0.5% of them rich people, they're going to throw you in the very poor. You're going to be desperately poor. So please, my people perish for lack of knowledge. I want y'all to gain knowledge and stop having this low information conversation about racism. Please.
Amen. Wise, I stand corrected. I stand corrected. I think I just want to say to you that you're absolutely right. Anything's possible in a blue state. You're absolutely right. It is happening. Stupid follows them everywhere they go.
Yeah.
Well, can I say something about these goals for a minute? Real quick. So, what Crystal was referring to, I think Celeste may have mentioned it, the 2030 goals, all of these United Nations, WHO goals, things like that, these global institutions, if you will. Keep in mind that even though this is the 2030 goals, these goals always are extended into the future. So therefore, they overlap and they're never achieved. So that always gives them not only the power, it gives them access to every country, if you will, and every country that is a sponsor member to keep funding them for goals that are never achievable, but yet they always are hung over every country, if you will, as if they are the pinnacle to achieve. So they're always in power. We always have a need. The goals are so big and unachievable, unmeasurable, really, to a large degree, but yet they're always extending the time out. So you're never really achieving anything.
Right.
Absolutely.
Good point.
Celeste, we'll give you the last word on this and we'll keep it moving.
Well, I want to thank Shelley because I'm going to pick up right after what she put down. This is the brainchild of the carbon mafia.
Yes, it
and
is.
If you look, the left is the left everywhere. Now, if you remember about a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago, Macron tried to introduce the gas tax. Very similar, which was going to damage all of the workers who can't afford to live, the poor and working class that can't afford to live in Paris, who will live on the outskirts and in the exurbs, to have to come in, and they're traveling 15 to 20 miles a day to come into Paris for work. All of them were going to be taxed on gas. So if you remember those yellow jacket protests, those protests were going on for like a month. Those people were out there in the streets and exploded over this because the left everywhere has decided to hang their hat on carbon. And although you said it jokingly, Wise, when you said they'd like to tax the air, yes, that's more than just a joke. In fact, the greatest expenditure of carbon is human beings because we exhale.
That's right.
And so, in fact, they would really love, and as Crystal said, go read these papers. Look, before it was Agenda 2030, it was Project 2021. So if you keep tracing them back, because it's the same project refolded into a new name. If you keep tracing them back, you will find them. And in the origins, that is actually what the desired goal is, to tax us for being alive. Because they have decided that the air and the rain and the wind and the sun are all commodities. And in fact, if you're out getting vitamin D, and if you're out exhaling on your own, shout out Terry McMillan, she's still waiting on that. But if you're doing all that, you're using their resources and they want to tax you. Those are the resources you need to be alive, and they want to tax you for living. And the scary thing with this California car tax is if they force, which I think should be illegal, the government should not be able to force private companies in determining how they should operate. Either they build a car and we buy it because we like it, or they don't. But they shouldn't have to tell them, but your car needs to have a tracking switch, because I can guarantee you, if they can get a car to have a tracking switch, they can get a car to have a kill switch. And at that point, they'll get to determine who gets to drive, how far you get to drive, how long you get to drive. And like Crystal says, then they get their desired goal of trapping you in 15-minute cities where you can only exist and operate at a highly taxed rate in an 8-block or 10-block radius. And that's it. So that way they can watch you. You can be like hamsters in those little mazes that people thought were so funny. When we were children. No, that's exactly the purpose of the 15 minutes. So this stuff, we really gonna have to support the president, Congress, and anybody else who wants to remove us from these multilateral agreements that have got us trapped. Because again, what they have always desired to do is to manage the decline so that they can get us in the maze. Free, prosperous, propertied Americans can't be put in a maze. And especially if they have a family in a church, which is why that is where the attack always resides. It always resides on your family, and it is always aimed at your church.
Amen.
Can I just add real quick? And I want y'all to pay attention, because I saw somebody put something in the comments and I agree with them. If y'all pay attention, people are fighting back who have common sense. So Costa Rica just elected a president who is like Bukele in El Salvador. They went for a right-wing person, because they said, hold on, our country is not looking good. We don't want that liberal left foolishness. Japan put a prime minister, the first woman, who is like Donald Trump. They put a mayor in place like Donald Trump. The people in Italy, the woman is like Donald Trump. The one in Argentina. So people are like, we don't want that crazy leftist, while Americans are like, please give us the list. Some of these liberals are like, let's get some more liberalism. No, clearly it's a problem, and people have gone through it. Hence why they are voting and going to the right, because they don't want these problems anymore. They see the writings on the wall. I wish the rest of these Americans would see the writings on the wall.
Yeah, and I just had a quick thing too, because that's what scares me. I continue to ask the question, do we have enough people in our country that actually want freedom?
Come on.
That's the question that I'm scared of the answer to that. I don't really know. I don't know if we have enough.
They don't know what it is.
Right. And I think we have been so creatures of comfort. When you talk about these 15-minute cities, and as Celeste said, being hamsters on a wheel, some people actually want that.
They love it.
Some people
want
do.
it.
Yeah.
They talk about in these 15-minute cities how, you won't own anything, you'll rent everything. Sometimes you're sharing.
And be happy.
And but some people do not see any issue with that. Some people are so, don't want to mow lawn, don't want to clear snow. They feel like that are extra demands on them. So the idea of being somewhere where the government does all this for you, they feel good about it. The black box thing that we talked about with cars, some people don't care as long as it's a new car. We talk about immigrants. My husband's family are immigrants. They're from Trinidad and Tobago. And so when my mother-in-law came over to stay with us, and she kept saying, she was like, I haven't seen any old cars. She was just like, there are so many new cars. I haven't seen any old cars here, really. And so it made me think, it's just like, because we are so much creatures of everything, the newer cars, push button starts, now we're talking about black boxes. This is, I think some people, or I'll say maybe a large amount of people, may want this and will say, you know what, I'm willing to give up freedom. I'm willing to allow the government to stalk me, so I'll have a new shiny car.
Yeah.
One world government.
Yeah. It's not KJ, what you're saying is nothing new. You're right. Two things real quick. Dennis Prager, I listen to him a lot. He's always said that the natural state, if you will, of man in general is not freedom. We have to fight for freedom. The natural state is to be comforted and cared for. So freedom does not come easily. And then the best example that I always use is from the Bible. When the Hebrew children were free from Egypt, what did they do when they got their freedom? They wanted to go back to Pharaoh.
They wanted to go back.
Serve them meat. I mean, so I always think about those things. Though freedom is not the natural state. It's a mindset, and of course we have to keep working at it, if you will.
Come on, excellent point.
I want an old car. I just want y'all to know, like, I want to get one of those.
They're much better than the new ones,
right?
Yeah, and I always tell people, if you can go to Apple TV or one of these shows and go find that TV show Next. They didn't make any more of that TV show, and I feel because they felt, hold on, we're telling too much of what we want to do to America, because that show will make you want to get an old car without all the computer chips. You want one of them old cars. You don't want that because all of the things that y'all are talking about.
Yep, you're absolutely right.
Read a couple super chats. We'll keep it moving. All righty. Shout out to Heartland Okie coming through with the $5 super chat. Says, I was told I needed a black perspective, so I'm here for it. We appreciate you pulling up, man. Hopefully you've been entertained and edutained this morning. I hope. Shout out to the New Life coming through with the $5 super chat. Says, I love the DS hates that I love you. What is that? What is that, DS? Everybody? No?
I guess it's Democratic Socialist. I thought
I was
maybe-
thinking the same thing.
Could be. Could be. Shout out to Deb Longo. Says they want to tax us up to 40%. Well, in some places, that's already happening.
That's already happening, Deb. You late.
It's already happening.
That's a discount.
Seriously. Shout out to Dewan Davis. Says telling black people to read is like telling a dog to speak. Lord, come on, Dewan. Come on, Dewan.
But they ain't like Dewan. They ain't like Dewan. You talking-
I do want to say this, and I guess it's more or less of a question. How long are black folks going to fall for the racist dog whistle? Something is racist. These, the Republicans are racist. Orange man bad. White man is the reason why you're not successful in this country. How much longer are folks going to fall for that?
Forever.
Yeah.
Forever. Because they like to be a victim. There'll be a lot of us that wake up and say, no, we just did this. But a lot of people, like we said, like Shelly was saying, people they want to fight for freedom. They have to fight for freedom because they naturally don't want to fight for freedom. They want to be comforted. So in the victim mentality, you like to be comforted. You like people to like, poor you, I'm so sorry for you, and so on and so forth. That's what I feel like they'll be like that forever. Let's just be real.
As long as they rely on intellectual laziness, they're gonna be that way. It takes thinking. It takes critical thinking to come out of that slump.
Also, it takes I think it takes a supernatural relationship with God. I think. I think, folk. I used to be there. I don't know where everyone else was, but I used to be a black supremacist. I mean, it was black everything. I used to be there many years ago.
Me too.
And what brought me out of it was two things. One was when I started seeing, because my blackness, I always, connected with leftism, with the Democrat Party. And so once I came out of the Democrat Party mindset, then I started seeing, well, people that look like me, even Christians and they're still Democrat or on the left, they don't think like me,
Nope.
And I started getting more into my word, and I started realizing we're all daughters and sons of the King, no matter what we look like. Okay. And so we need to come together as followers of Christ. That's for me, followers of Christ. It's not about skin color. It's not even really about political party, but it kind of is because, to me, at least a little bit. I would say conservatism versus leftism.
Yes.
But as long as they are beholden to this idea of racial identity and not an identity in Christ, we're going to have a problem. We're going to have a problem.
Yeah.
I was so black that I wanted to shoot white people. I was hanging out the slave theater out here in New York. I was hanging out the slave theater and had my daily every Wednesday. I was getting on my daily dose of Malcolm X and Alton Maddox and all the foreign black intellectuals. I mean, I was a mad black man. But when Jesus came in, everything else left.
Right.
I mean, common sense came in. I realized how crazy I was. So, yes, I know what you're talking about, brother.
Yeah, I remember a quick practical story. My grandmother, my grandmother's generation, 30s depression era, if you will, they didn't have much. And I remember people always say, well, you already had a cushy lifestyle. No, I did not. I don't even know what that means. Okay. Because thank God, I work for the things that I have. And guess what? I'm not ashamed of it. I'm not going to downplay it. But I remember when I was in college and I had an apartment, and I remember my grandmother would say, as long as if you can pay the rent, you don't have to have the furniture right away. There were times I literally had blankets on the floor because I didn't have a bedroom set. But guess what? I had my own apartment. It was mine. I had to take care of the work for it. All I had was money to pay the rent. Okay. Sometimes what they call it, robbing Peter to pay Paul.
Yeah.
Done that. Okay. So I don't even buy this little guilt trip. Well, you don't know. You've never been in my shoes. No, I've been in my shoes. And sometimes I didn't have as many as I have now. So I don't want your shoes. Okay. I had to take my shoes to the local cleaners shoemaker to get the heels repaired, things like that. So don't hand me that BS. I have worked for, and I want to maintain the freedom and not under onerous government, particularly taxation, where I cannot take care of myself and my family. Bull crap.
That part.
After my own heart. I want to just say this though. I am encouraged.
Yes.
And the reason I'm encouraged is because of men. Because the nature and the psychology of men is not, they're not going to go for subjugation that well. Men have a conquering spirit that is part of their physiology and it's part of their biology. And I feel like if white men and Latino men and Black men get together, they will take this country back, which is why I feel like they have such a fixation on race and divisiveness, so that the white, the Black, the Latino man cannot stand up and take this country back, because they're all in their silos having the same conversation. You've got the white guys, I know, I watch them. The white guys over here saying this, you got the Black men over here saying this, you've got, so as soon as they get out of their silos and find each other and find out, hey, we all see this the same way, I'm not worried about the country. And I will say, I do believe that the people who want the 15-minute cities and who want this onerous taxation and who want ultimately to manage our decline into complete subjugation, that is truly what they fear. They fear a coalition of like-minded, focused, God-fearing men. And I feel like that really can happen, because I feel like we are finally in a place now, and because of social media and other things, where men can actually start to communicate with other men. And as soon as that happens, you know what? Woe to them, because we don't think they fear us, but they sure fear that.
They do. Amen.
They do.
Thus
Shout
the
out
attack
to
on masculinity.
Shout out to Trey Day coming through with the $10 super sticker. Appreciate you supporting the channel this morning. Thank you, Egg Chin, coming through with the $2 super chat. Says, did y'all see Jimmy Kimmel crying again?
Yeah.
When is he not crying?
That's my comedy right now. Seeing liberals cry.
I know.
Man. Shout
When
out to
doves cry,
Eric.
when liberals cry.
Look at that. Eric Ramin coming through with the $2 super chat. Says, Representative Crystal for 2026.
Yes.
All right now. I'll second that. Shout out to Steve Edmister coming through with the $2 super chat. Buffalo in the building. Virginia is now proposing a walk your dog tax.
Yes, I saw that. Yeah, they are.
Walk your dog tax.
Crazy.
That's outrageous, man. Thank you, Speak Your Voice First, for coming through with the $2 super chat. Says scales need to fall from eyes. They need Christ. Absolutely.
Yes, they do.
And thank you to Satan's _ reject with the $5 super chat. Says, I remember my mom's saying, too bad they have appeal for everything, but hashtag common sense. What's the name of the outro song of this channel? Called Battle Ready. That is the name of the song. But appreciate you guys. And shout out to the New Life with the $2 super chat. Says DS equals
Deep state.
Gotcha.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah, we don't use that type of language over here. We don't use that type of language over here. I want to play this last clip. It's a little lighter, but I thought it was right in line, especially with this, being the early, stages within Black History Month. There's a young brother out there who decided that he was going to do something positive for his community. And because of him being willing to get out there and put the work in, my grandfather used to say all the time, anything worth having is worth working for. I was not brought up to be a victim. It was all about get out there and put the work in. It will happen for you. This young brother is doing that. I want to play this for you, and then I want to hear from you guys. We won't stay on it too long.
Doesn't always come with applause. Sometimes it comes with effort and a desire to help others. Tonight, Dogtown neighbors are singing the praises of a man with a skid steer. That's the small construction loader you sometimes see on job sites. He plowed their narrow streets for free.
And when 5 on Your Side saw the videos of him online yesterday, Tracy Henson tracked him down. Tracy?
Kelly and Mike. Yeah, I had to find out a little bit more. His name is Kenneth Harrell, and he actually is not from Dogtown. He fell in love with Dogtown because of this place right here, Seamus McDaniels. He worked there as a teenager, and he said when he went away to college, he always had a job when he came back to Dogtown, and that's why he loved it so much, and that's why he's paying it forward with a little snow plowing.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you.
Kenneth Harrell appreciates all of Dogtown, which is why he spent the last few days doing this.
This one specifically was $500.
He rented the Bobcat-style skid steer loader with no intention of ever being paid back.
Originally, we were putting out a crew to hand shovel and we were charging for the sidewalks.
The crew being him, his sister, and his nephew, who in warmer weather work for the family business A&K Concrete.
And it just didn't make sense to me that people could get out the house but not off the street. So we took the money that we made from the hand shoveling crew and we rented a machine, and I just went clearing streets.
And that's when pictures and videos of him plowing the narrow Dogtown streets started making the rounds online. Even our interview Wednesday mentioned him.
I know there's someone running around in Dogtown with like a Bobcat style thing.
Kenneth did make it down Chandler's narrow street.
People were asking what we were charging. I didn't really know what to say, so I just kind of, a donation ordeal, I guess, just whatever you could afford. Let's just get everybody out and moving around.
Karen Wiley Vales needed the parking spots cleared in front of her restaurant, so she messaged Kenneth.
He inboxed me today and said, I'll be there shortly. I'm like, yay! So no, but this is what community looks like.
But is Kenneth's vigilante-style street plowing allowed? I asked the City of St. Louis Street Commissioner Kent Flake.
I mean, if they're helping, I'm not going to tell them no.
Thank you.
Now, not all heroes wear capes. Some apparently wear Carhartt winter overalls. He did say, though, if the city was to offer him a contract, he would absolutely take it, and he would buy his own gear instead of renting it. Live in Dogtown, I'm Tracy Henson, 5 on your side.
He's going to turn an act of good service and good works into a contract with the city. I foresee that happening for this young brother. But I wanted to just showcase that as an example of, one, someone doing something positive in the community, but how it can actually turn out to a pretty lucrative situation. Lord knows we could have used that brother in our neighborhood for sure.
Yeah. Excellent.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Crystal, we'll give you the first word.
I just love that. I love seeing community. And I think that's what people forget. We used to be community. It was about community. Everybody keeps telling me about, in the comments, yelling about illegal aliens and all that other stuff, illegal immigrants, all that stuff. But at the end of the day, it's not about that. We're Americans. This is our home. We need to take care of it. We need to have community. And I love to see this young man paying it forward for the place that he grew up, the place that gave him a job every time he came back. During summer break from school. That is what it's all about. It's about being there for your neighbors. It's being, like I said, a community. The Lord says about being there, loving your neighbor as you love yourself. And he's literally showing that in his actions. It's not just words. And that takes us back full circle to the celebrities at the beginning, because this young man, he's not rich, he's not doing it, but he made it his business to go and help the community in their time of need, where these celebrities are just sitting down here, virtue signaling, telling people how if you celebrate, if you stand with ICE, you're horrible. We need to do this. We need to do that. But at the same time, they're not doing anything. And those same tears that they want to share for the people, illegal immigrants, they didn't share it for the Dakar Thompsons and the Larisha Thompsons and all these other people that lost their lives, American citizens that lost their lives to illegal immigrants. So that's what I'm saying. This whole thing is full circle, because we need to get back to being community. I see people keep saying that our conversation here is to divide. If you want to call it that, we are dividing Americans, legal people, from illegal people, because the Lord said to separate the wheat from the tare. You keep making it seem like the Lord wants us all together. He separates the wheat from the tare. And this is what we're doing. We are protecting our country, our citizens, our people. That's what we're supposed to do.
Absolutely. Shelly, I'll give you the next word.
Yeah. So kudos to that guy there. And let me say this. This is actually, if he gets a contract with the government, this is actually what one of the functions is supposed to be. Government is supposed to use the taxpayers, the people, to provide the services that are necessary for the community. And a contract, not hired on as an employee and tens and thousands of employees that we're just paying for just to show up. No, he's providing a service under a contract with his own business. That is how the government is supposed to be efficiently run. Okay, that's it. And when the contract is over, or when there's no snow, then he still has his own business to support himself. But during the times of need for a specific purpose, that's called efficiency and using the government and taxpayer funds correctly. Okay,
Amen.
not to pay your party or your homie or your crony. That's not what it's supposed to be for. So kudos to him. You know, that restaurant, the business is still providing the service, providing jobs for people in the community as well. It all benefits the people, the taxpayers of the community. That's how it's supposed to be, and that's where I'll end.
Minister Denzel, I'll give you the next word.
This is very brief. This is the difference between the mentality of entitlement and the mentality of gratitude and appreciation.
Yes.
Yep.
You see that? Very clear example. The brother appreciated what he got from that restaurant. He showed his appreciation by doing what he could to help. Entitlement would have said they owed me that, and they need to give me more. They need to come and dig me out. That's entitlement. So we got to understand this is what we're talking about. This is appreciation and gratitude in action, and it's a vast difference from what people do when they think they're entitled.
Absolutely. Celeste?
Yeah, I really like this brother. I like the whole thing that apparently the concrete business that he has with his family does more work in the summer. So they were trying to figure out how to be of some use when they were, not in their busy work time. And they might have, in fact, as Shelley said, created another business as a result of looking for a way to be useful. So Minister Denzel is right. When you accept the spirit of gratitude and appreciation, you'll be amazed at how you can be rewarded by it. But I also, so I really did like that. But I also think to myself, similar to Shelley, it would be great if, in fact, the citizenry could actually, in their donation, help him buy that machine and contract him themselves. Now, I know this can get a little difficult if they're on public streets, but certainly private streets can do that and begin to take some of what the government is extending to you back and say, no, we can handle it ourselves, so we don't need to be taxed on it because we'll take care of that. And begin to change your relationship with the government. And I did want to notice how interesting it was when they asked the mayor. The mayor was so reticent. He couldn't say great job, thank you. All he said is, well, I won't stop him. But he couldn't find a way to come up with any real praise and look at my community and look at how we sowed and poured into this young man. And now in our time of need, he's come back. He didn't have none of that. He was so nervous, like, I don't know.
He was protecting his He was protecting his job. He wanted to be the important. He wanted to be the important one.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And I thought that was very telling. And if I were a citizen of Dogtown, I would be like, let's do it. Let's go it alone. And let that man, his sorry self, stay where they're at.
He may be running for mayor next year.
Hey, somebody. KJ, we'll get your last word and we'll get up out of here.
Yeah. When I saw this, this warmed my heart. I loved it. And it made me just now think of what Celeste said about the men, the young men, the old men. This was about ownership for me. Okay. This is my community. This is my country. And the future is my duty, and so I loved it. And guess what? It's not about, in other states or other cities, we saw people tearing it down. That's not ownership. This young man felt like, you know what, I'm going to take the onus, and do this and get it done. And so we know that people who feel ownership, what do? They build, they protect, they correct. We used to see this all the time in Baltimore. We cleaning our sweeping our steps in the mornings. You see a young kid doing juvenile or whatever, not doing what they're supposed to, causing chaos in the community. you corrected them, and there was no knock at your door from the mother or some, you know, crazy sister or brother saying, why'd you say that to my son? Why'd you say that to my daughter? No, it was thank you. You listen to Miss Mamie next time, you know. This is about ownership. And this is what I love. And I thought it was a great video. Again, this is what we're fighting for. We've got to pass this stuff on and really spotlight this type of stuff more often.
Amen. Oh, yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All righty. I'll read a couple super chats and then we will close out for the day. Shout out to Papa Dot with a $5 super chat. Says, Wise, did you get a real job? That's why you ain't on 5 days anymore. If I have to hear Angry Benny or Chasing Bags much more, I'm going to go nuts. Papa Dot, come on now, bruh. Come on now. Thank you to, what is that? Damn happy to be here. Okay. Thank you for joining the ARP family. I appreciate you. Appreciate you as well. Shout out to Culinary Master coming through with, and she says, success is to be measured not so much by the position that one has reached in life as by the obstacles which he has overcome while trying to succeed. Booker T. Washington. That was phenomenal. I had to highlight that. You know, I have Booker T over my shoulder over here.
That's my man.
I'm a fan. I am a fan. Thank you to Protected Lady coming through with the $2 super chat. Says, please pray for us in VA. We want Winston. What's up, Sherry? How you doing today? Hey, Seabergy, how you doing? Says Abba works in amazing ways.
Amen.
Yeah. Amen to that. And thank you, Papa Dot, with the $5 super chat. Said, remember, there is content creators that have hard times reading super chats, not pointing fingers. So send help. Wise, I'm sure there is help out there. You always trying to get on me. I've been doing good today, bro. You're doing very well today.
Yes, you
I'm on point today. Okay, I'm on point.
Yeah. he needs some help.
Seriously. Thank you, Jay Zimmerman coming through with the $5 super chat. Says Satan rules this world. Any sin we do know. Hold up. Any sin we do.
He knows.
Okay. He knows. Y'all got to work with me on this punctuation. See, I'm trying to give myself props, and y'all come through without the periods and commas. Come on now.
Just like the devil.
I know, just like the devil. Oh, man.
You want me to read it to you?
Yeah, you read it. Go for it.
Satan rules this world. Any sin we do, he knows it pulls us away from God. Being the word of God is word. God is Lord. Jesus is King. Stop Satan with faith. Love you guys.
Amen.
Thank you,
we appreciate the super chat, man. Y'all got to work with me on this daggone punctuation, man. It's hard when you don't have the proper punctuation there. It makes it very difficult because you're trying to stop to see where the commas, where the periods are. Y'all got to work with me here, man. Work with me. And thank you, Protected Lady, for the $2 super chat. Says they need him in New York City. Snow everywhere. Yeah, I saw a video on that earlier. I was looking at something this morning, man. It is a mess up there right now. Yeah. It's a mess.
Yeah.
Thank you to you say that. Is that Isaac? NYC?
Isaac.
Okay.
NYC.
Thank you for the $5 super chat. Says this is the first time I felt compelled to give on YouTube, my new favorite show. Y'all are on the ball. Man, shout out to you, man. Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you. And thank you for joining the ARP family as well. We appreciate the support, man. Thank you very much.
Wow.
With that being said, we'll get ready to get up out of here. KJ, Shelley, thank you guys so much for coming and hanging out with us this afternoon.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you so much. Good show today. Definitely appreciate you guys as well. Minister Danzel, Celeste, and Crystal, we appreciate you guys as well for supporting what we're doing over here at ARP. Shout out to all the Blues. Thank you guys so much, man, for helping to keep things peaceful in the chat. We do appreciate you guys. All the folks that are green, because they made sure I want to highlight them. All the greens, all my ARP family members, thank you guys so much as well for just coming through and supporting what we're doing over here at ARP. Do appreciate it. Everybody that supported the channel financially this morning, this afternoon, we appreciate you guys. God bless each and every one of you all as well. Lord willing, we will be back at this thing Friday morning, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for ARP in the morning. Promised you, I told you it was going to be a good show. The fastest 2.5 hours in your life. I hope you guys enjoyed the show today. We're going to get ready to get up out of here. Shout out to you guys, man. As always, keep God first. Stay prayed up. We'll catch up with you guys next time, man. Peace.
It is God who arms me with strength. Yeah, I'm battle ready. He trains my hands for for battle, my heart stay steady. But thanks be to God, he gives us the victory. Through my Lord Jesus Christ, it can't live in me. I was down to the dirt, red clay on my shoes, old pain in my shirt, oh so bruised. Then the Lord hit my chest, kicked air from my breath, put power in my step.